Welcome or welcome back to the HIVE MINDS Podcast, where we talk about everything Baldur's Gate 3. And today we are going over the past 6 months worth of trailers that have introduced new people and new, well, the city, right? And these trailers have revealed more the closer we get to the full release of the game. And we thought it would be really interesting to dive kind of deep. We don't really have much information, but what we have is valuable. So that's what we're going to do. And in the second half of the podcast, we are going to talk about the free RPG that Larian has come out with that is browser based, and it is called Blood in Baldur's Gate, and it's the murder mystery, which you can still play. It is going to be linked. We are recording for me, it's the 28th of June while we are recording, and in the game, it is currently the 29th Python DR 1477. I don't know how to read that. Leave me alone. But yes, so I'm going to try to edit everything as quickly as I can and get the episode up as quick as I can. But when you get the episode, there has been more stuff added to the murder mystery, and you will know more than we know right now. Just letting you guys know about that. But yeah, we are going to start. Also, goddammit, I'm here with my co-hosts, MizuMing and Liss. Goddamn, I'm going on this haul.
We're not important. Don't worry about it.
Yes, you are. Oh my god, I was just like, damn. But yes, my amazing co-hosts, we are here. We three. Oh, damn. But, yeah, we're going to start talking about the oldest trailer, which is called the Baldur's Gate 3 The Game Awards trailer. Everything is going to be linked down below. You can watch all the trailers. They're going to play in the background, but no audio. If you want to watch them, definitely go watch them on Larian's channel. They are amazing. And go show them some support, you know? And yeah, so what did you guys think about the first trailer?
The first thing that is probably the most major thing that most people noticed was that you had a druid that can turn into an owlbear.
Yes, and owlbears are not technically...
They're considered
on
to be
the list.
monstrosities.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're monsters, not animals. And wild shape is supposed to just be animals.
Although I understand why they've done it, because it has to coincide with the Dungeons and Dragons movie where they have a druid turn into an owlbear there. But also, to me, it makes sense because it is an owl and a bear fusion, which are both beasts.
Yeah, but it's probably like the sentience level of it or something. But I mean, you use speak with animals to talk to it
in the game. Yeah,
in the game, so it makes sense that they're classifying as an animal. Yeah.
It would be interesting to go back to the game and see if you examine the old bear, what it would be listed as. Which we know that everything in the game will be canon, and if the movie also had the owlbears as animals, I think we have some updates coming to the Dungeons and Dragons.
Potentially, they could be changing what it is from a monstrosity into a beast of some sort, yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, makes sense.
You know, Volo did a little bit more research on it, and now he knows it's an animal.
He's like, you know what, you can tame... I mean, we can actually tame it. We can actually have an owlbear kind of as a pet.
For now. We don't know what's going to happen with it in the future. But he likes us.
will cuddle with it, and then it will just be Nice.
Just, yeah. Uh-huh.
That's how all balls.
I
Balls?
mean,
Yes, all balls.
Astarion likes when we pet it.
Bring back letting me, farm approval by petting the dog. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. True.
Well, it
good
only works
days.
for certain characters. Doesn't work for
Yeah.
everybody. Astarion
Yeah.
doesn't care about the dog. Lizelle doesn't care about the dog either.
Starion sees it probably as a snack.
Well, he does call it a little snack.
I mean, yeah, see. God. I have to apologize. My notes today are chaotic. I'm
Let's see, what else?
trying to see which one. Yeah, go on.
Another really big thing from that trailer was the reveal of what looked to be like a very large angelic being clad in blue, which later on in the trailer you see some guards also in blue, which initially I thought would be like Saluna sort of gear, but seeing the mark on their backs, they're Absolute brand. So there's potentially a diva or something that belongs to the Absolute.
Interesting. So my thought was, and I'm, we know I'm the noob here, the Dungeons and Dragons noob, but I thought maybe when I saw the wings, it reminded me of Divinity, Original Sin, with the metamorph.
Yep.
But I don't know how that works in D&D.
There are a few different races that have wings.
Yeah.
The most notable humanoid is an Aasimar, which there might also be in that trailer, the black-winged, red-robed gentleman who looked like he had sickly wings might be a fallen Aasimar.
Interesting. So they're kind of like Celestials?
An Aasimar would be the equivalent of a celestial tiefling, because like tieflings are with the hells and demons, and Aasimars are ancient. The diva or whatever that is, though, is much, much larger than a regular person, because you can see the character they have as the paladin, like, just right in front of them, and this lady is huge by comparison. She could even be the Night Song for all we know.
Oh, that would be cool.
That'd be kind of fucking wild, though.
Yeah.
Right?
But yeah, that I also noticed the wings and thought, damn, that's cool. Imagine we could fly.
Well, I mean, we can fly with the right spells.
But like,
if I just figure out how to tame that dragon from Act 1, I can also fly.
Ooh.
That is also cool.
Probably not for very long, but,
Let's get Lizelle to...
Yeah, I see characters like that and I go, they're going to be the really cool NPC that's going to show us around and show us some things, but we're never going to actually, like, have them in our party. So...
yeah. Maybe, but probably not.
Like, this is the really cool high-level NPC that the DM throws in to be like, okay, now this is going to show you the toddlers, aka the party, the way, and then leave you. So... But I could be completely wrong, and it'd be really cool if I was completely wrong.
Another couple things that I noticed in the trailer was at one point, there's this giant tentacle that breaks out of some stone.
Yes.
Yeah!
I saw that too.
Brood Mother. Anyway.
Brood Mother? What the hell?
Dragon Age Origins, you fight this really horrific monster called a Brood Mother, and she summons tentacles up through the floor.
Ugh.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think it might be the escape tadpole, the thing that you guys showed me.
Well, that takes like 20 years.
Yeah, that takes several years to...
Oh god, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
then
I
not.
hope it's not that. I mean, our tadpoles are super fucking weird, so maybe logic is out the window for the way our tadpoles work. But at the same exact time, like,
the way that I see it, when I was looking into Catherick, when he went down into the Underdark to like try to raid Moonrise Towers, it was 1391 DR. So it could be something that's been down there for several decades.
yeah.
That would be
But
scary.
Or
as
maybe
hell.
appeared
just
to
learns how to.
be-
Maybe he knows a spell to summon something like this, and it's a new spell. I can't think of any
that's
off the top
more
of my
along the
head.
lines of
but-
From the absolute, like our powers. But like
yeah, that's more along the
Oh,
lines
on
it
of
could be
steroids.
like the absolute gives you summon a lithid tentacle power.
humongous
Fuck,
tentacles.
I don't want that horrific.
Well, that's the thing too, because it appears to be like an armored tentacle.
Yes.
Like it's segmented in a way that isn't normal to most of the creatures of the Underdark that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I haven't seen many, so
I
can't
do
really-
definitely think it looked kind of like.
Pointy.
Sorry. Yeah, it looked. I couldn't think of a monster that would be attached to.
Yeah.
No, me neither.
It reminded me of the Mind Flayers, definitely. And first I was like, huh, is there another, like, Nautiloid? But
Well, I
that
mean,
didn't make
it
sense.
could be part of the Nautiloid, but like the Nautiloid that we see in the beginning is very smooth and fluid, and this is not. This is decidedly not. It's pointy, it's a lot shorter, it's segmented and kind of armored, I guess. And there are a few other creatures down in the Underdark that have long tentacles like aboleths and things like that, but not like that.
I would say that better not be an aboleth anyway.
No, they're smaller tentacles, usually like paler, whiter.
Yeah, like I know what an aboleth is. I just don't want to encounter one.
Stay out of the water.
True.
A couple other things that I noted was that there was a Drider, and he appeared to have one of the lunar lamps that we were told that we needed to get in order to get
Yeah.
the Shadow Curse lands. And if my memory serves, that one is probably the servant of Minthara.
Mm-hmm. The weird creature guy she
Mhm.
talks about
Yeah.
that was hit by
Yes.
the Shadow Curse.
And he has 2 half-orc bodyguards with him and a goblin in that trailer, I think.
Yes. I spotted
That
them.
sounds right. Yeah.
And I even wrote down, you can see the orcs at like 1 minute and 40 seconds. Which is very cool to see.
And so, like, we get a preview of what the half-orc character potentially looks like for us as players.
I noticed, and I don't know what the hell these things are, so you guys probably have more insight than I do. But at 1 minute and 32 seconds, we see these weird puppet-like corpse thingies with these, like, Edward Scissorhands just comes out of the blue.
I do have that noted. Yes, I do have that noted.
Okay, let me look at them really quick.
Yeah. And it, for me, I was like...
that thing. That looked like Jarlax. To me,
Yeah,
I looked
it
at him and I
does
went,
look
huh,
like
Jarlaxel. I literally looked at him and went, huh, Jarlaxel, cool.
But he's like a semi-undead looking Jarlaxel who got mixed with a
Yeah.
construct.
So, what the hell is a
Yeah.
Jarlaxo?
Okay, Jarlaxel is a drow who, one, plays a very big part in Waterdeep Dragon Heist, so
Oh.
play that. But, yeah, so he is a drow that was originally from the Underdark and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a pirate.
And yeah, kind of a pirate, kind of like definitely super into being in the shadows and pretending to be other people so that way like nobody actually knows who he is.
Mm-hmm.
But he's
he's not partially construct. He's all flesh.
Yeah, he's definitely all alive.
Ew.
He's definitely all alive, but he really just like does a lot of things behind the scenes in Faerun.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a few hundred years old, I think. I don't remember when he was born, but yeah, so like he basically left the Drow Society after a while and made his way around the world above and adventured, pirated, did all sorts of things. Kind of like I'd say he's probably like not above doing anything once, at least just to try it.
Adventurous.
Yeah.
Kinky.
Super manipulative. Super duper duper manipulative for sure.
But this guy looked like he had a whole bunch of like undead people with him, and Edward Scissorhands, as you said, construct arm, which is not normal.
But he's got the eye patch and the hat and the outfit, and so it looks a lot like him. It might not be him. I could be 100% wrong, which is totally fine because I think I would be a little bit upset if Jarlaxel was an undead construct now instead of being alive.
Yeah. It would be like, what happened to him?
What I
like, damn,
thought...
it's been like 2 years since Dragon Heist, dude. What happened?
Yeah.
What I thought when I looked at them, like all of them, was like, oh, are we in the Shadow Curse lands? Like, is that if we walked through the Shadow Curse, if we took that because we saw the creature that was supposed to lead us through the mountain pass, but we would like get hit by the Shadow Curse, right? If we
not if you were close to the lamp.
Yeah, but what if I mean, I don't know how it works, but what I heard from the Shadowlands or Curse or whatever, there's like portals, and then you walk into like the Shadowland or something like that.
So how it goes is that the longer that you are in the Shadowfell, the more twisted your body becomes, and the Shadow Curse is from the Shadowfell. So anyone who's caught up in it for long enough starts to become twisted and a different kind of version of themselves. But that doesn't mention anything about becoming partially robotic, because that's not a normal thing. That's not something that would happen by just being in the Dark Realm.
Okay.
That's somebody physically cutting off a part of your body and putting a piece of like automail on your body to replace anything like a prosthetic. That's very different.
But maybe they kind of live there, or maybe we run into them there. I don't know. It's
definitely something I feel that we would run into on our way. Actually, just before that scene, like just before that scene, there's this golden woman.
Yeah, she's cool as hell.
She's definitely something, all right. I don't know what she is.
I don't. She might be one of those.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! Me pulling out my monster manual.
That head reminds me of something. Or hat.
The golden hat.
Her face, I guess. It reminds me a little bit of the shape-shifting. Well, not really.
Okay, so I look at her. There's this there are these construct things called modrons.
I thought that's what you would bring up, yeah.
Yeah. And so, no, she doesn't look like any of the ones that are in the monster manual. That one really horrifically has like 3 faces and too many mouths.
Beautiful.
But she could, like, that's what I think of when I see her.
Okay.
I'm probably, once again, probably wrong, because I'm just building off things that I know, and we don't know who she is.
Looking at her physicality, I think she's probably alive. She appears to be like maybe in a skirt of some sort as well. And it's like really high. It's like a mini skirt. It's just sticking off of her body.
Oh yeah. Or it could be like
Yeah.
these weird Victorian or whenever it was when they had these weird butt puffs and hip
Oh,
puffs.
the massive skirts? Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
I don't even know if they're at that point in the Dungeons and Dragons universe yet for fashion, quite honestly.
Yeah. It looks like she
And they never should be.
Yeah. It looks like she has legs though.
Yeah. Like she looks like she's fully covered in like brass or gold or whatever, but she seems alive. Like she's not necessarily a construct, but we don't know what she is.
So, but this, like the background, right? It does look like some sort of ruin, and then we have that mist and the grayish tint around. And then she's also kind of robotic, right? She looks like a statue of some sorts. And then her hands have like claw-like fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but that's also something that would be typical of a set of armor, though. You can have that on regular armor.
Yeah, true. Maybe there's this weird ruin we can run into that some sort of like insane scientist has settled in and just...
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, look at the alchemy tower. You go to the top and you see like Bernard and all of the other constructs up there. It's totally possible there's more further down in the Underdark.
True.
Okay, yeah. I think it'd be cool if she was an automata. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, as sick as that armor would be on a person, I think it'd be really, really cool if she's just an automata who's like relatively sentient and also kind of evil. Like, I would love that for her if she was evil.
It looks kind of evil to me.
Like a Cruella de Vil of robotics.
I want to talk to her. I want to be able to have some...
Well, I mean, it looks like we're going to.
I hope so. I hope it's not just like in Skyrim, the weird dwarven giant robots that are just protectors and you trigger them.
No, I think she's gonna be more than that.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, otherwise she wouldn't be in the trailer, I guess.
What if we get to do some missions for them?
That will be interesting, especially evil. Like if you walk with the creature, and maybe
maybe they're
know each
allies
other or
with
something.
the absolute. You never know.
Yeah.
You know who isn't at this point?
True.
We don't know.
True. There's a lot.
Well, we know Minsk isn't.
Yeah.
And he's at the end of the trailer.
Speaking of, things in this trailer in Minsk.
Mm-hmm. Is that a mimic?
Minsk is in this trailer.
Yeah. And now I know Minsk. At least a little bit. Still trying to get his friend out of the Knoll Tower thing.
Okay.
But then I will get to know him more. All I know is he yells, "Go for the ice, boo," a lot. And I love it.
Yes, he does. Really well, if you know what I mean.
Oh, damn. I guess I will, because right now I have not found anyone to romance yet. So I know you can romance him after you find his friend, I guess. Or that's how you get the romance, something like that.
Maybe a little bit of a spoiler, but some audio lines from earlier on, like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, showed that you can romance him at the tiefling party.
Oh.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And also, there's lines. Both the sets of lines are from Astarion. The other one is when you talk about like who you'd like to sip a little bit of blood from. He's also one of the options. And
Yeah,
Astarion says
okay.
that his blood must taste like bootleg whiskey.
Interesting.
I remember that, but like, where would we meet him?
So in the trailer, if we look at it, it looks like there's some sort of, we're in like some sort of like noble-esque.
Yeah, I'm trying to say like where I mean there's like that house that burned down. But
Huh. It looks so fancy. Maybe we can go somewhere else, which I don't think so. Like, where else should we be able to go?
Well, we don't know yet.
True, but on the map?
Between the Chianthars where we're at and Baldur's Gate, we could meet him anywhere in between there. And
Oh,
like,
and if we
were
just
to,
did the
if we
tiefling
were to
party
get
later?
before we even did the tiefling thing, then he'd be in our party at that point.
True.
And I think the same goes for Helia? I think that was her name. The halfling werewolf.
yeah.
Yeah, there's also lines for her and her romance at the tiefling party.
Who?
I think her name was Helia, I think. I'll have to go
Helia.
double check that.
Huh.
And she was a halfling werewolf.
That's cool. I have not
They
yet
do have
met
they
them
do
or heard
have a
about
model
them.
for her, but I don't know too much else about her than that she's like good aligned.
But yeah, in the trailer, when we look at meeting Minsk, we seem to be in some sort of castle, or it doesn't
At
really
the
look
very
Yeah, it
ruined.
looks definitely not like anywhere we would see in what we've
At the
seen
very
in Act
least,
1.
it looks better than a regular house.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it does look kind of noble or rich, or we have this big safe. I don't know what it's called. Tresor. In the background, which looks fancy. Like, it kind of looks maybe elvish. I don't know. There's a lot of gold. I don't know if this could be Selionite stuff, because...
Well, I mean, if he was supposedly captured by the Absolute, I don't know that it would be Selûne related at all.
Yeah, and
He could be in the treasury, maybe.
Maybe. Is there anywhere where we couldn't go yet? In like... In the goblin
in the early
camp.
access? Yeah, in early access, there's definitely places we can't go yet.
Yeah, I have walked into I've been like wandering around places la 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 la, and then gotten a huge world map being like, you can't go here yet, jazz hands.
Oh.
Yeah, there's places on the Risen Road that we can't go. There's
like
in
a
the
place
Underdark
by
we
the
can't go.
goblin camp that we can't go yet. Like,
Yeah.
That might be
Yeah,
it, maybe, because it's a stone building. Let me see if we go a little bit. I'm trying to keep looking at the background instead of Minsk. Yeah, there's a it looks like a oh goddamn words, please. Like a shrine.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a the table on an altar, right?
yeah, the safe and then yeah.
Yeah. And oh, in the background we can see maybe that looks like maybe some books.
Yeah, this might be a shrine somewhere. It's two-storied, I think, too.
Yeah.
But
it
how many
looks
of them do you think would have a mimic chest in them?
true?
Well, maybe they kept him in the mimic chest just to be safe.
Didn't work out for the Mimic.
Oh, not at all.
Trying to see if we have like some symbols in the background. I just see some crosses. And
they may have left it just vague enough for you not to know.
Yeah.
Which is fair. They gotta leave some aspect of what's to come, otherwise, nobody's gonna be excited.
Oh, 100%. But I think what's also in this scene, before we go to Minsk, because that's the highlight of this trailer, I guess, we can
Not
see...
for me.
we can see, I think 3 tabs, maybe. In
3
this.
tabs?
Like 3
Yeah, there's the
main
one with
characters.
the curly hair, there's the dwarf, and there's
Oh, if they were
there's-
multiplayer, maybe.
Or these they have the same uniform.
It's like the one with the curly hair in the trailer was supposed to be Paladin. The other 2 might be NPCs that you're talking to at the time.
Could be. Honestly. I mean, they have the same armor, so I guess. They have some faces on there. I mean, other people probably are like, oh my god, yes, this is this and this. I don't know, I can't see. These are guards, I don't know. It could be in the Goblin camp. Maybe not. Guess not.
Well, we don't know yet.
Guarded.
Like, there's definitely going to be changes.
Or a
to the game.
bank. Could it be a bank?
That's what I said. Treasury.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and then maybe we can go to like some sort of a bank, and then maybe from the Absolute, and then we can get this chest where they like put him in like the Mimic chest and try to put him in some sort of bank too. I don't know.
The immediate bank that I can think about is in Baldurs Gate, and it belongs to an evilly aligned dwarf, and we do see a dwarf in this particular video, but I don't know if it's him. But that is the only bank I can think of immediately.
What I would find interesting, we can look back at the Baldurs Gate trailer later and see if we can spot any guards with the same armor. Right? Then we know.
Wait, there are multiple sets of guards in Baldur's Gate. The Flaming Fist are like the main one from Ravengard, but there are a couple different sets of guards that are not related to the Flaming Fist that are also in the city. Like there's some for the outer city, and there's some for like the lower and the upper city. The upper city has its own special set of guards that only answer to the people up there. So it could be potentially that we're up in the upper city at that point and we find him.
Yeah, we look very fancy, honestly. Or the dwarf
And that would make sense.
looks very fancy and very
kinda
noble.
cool.
Yeah. I also noticed on just saying on the armor of one of the guards or whatever they are, they have like faces, right? On the chest plate. They remind me kind of dwarf faces, but one of them just looks like a butt face.
Oh no!
If you wanna, I'm trying to edit it in and zoom in on it, but it's like on 1 minute and 49 seconds. If you pause it there and then look at the second face from the left, it looks like a butt face, honestly. I want them to have put a butt face in there. I don't know if they did, but
Lena is living for this butt face right now.
I am. I spotted a butt face, okay? And I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not, but let me know if you also see a butt face in there, because I don't want to be the only person who interprets this as like a butt face, okay? Anyhow, Minsk!
Yeah, Minsk pops out of a Mimic chest.
for
Crazy.
Do we think he has Boo?
Wonder what he's been up to.
We didn't see Boo in the trailer.
Maybe that's why he's so mad.
Understandable.
Potentially.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if he's like, I need to get Boo back, like,
That's his loyalty quest. Easy.
yeah, and I could see that happening.
And I can't remember if he's supposed to be infected with the tadpole or not. I think he's supposed to be, but I'm not 100% sure.
He got captured, right? That's what they were saying?
Yeah,
So
but that doesn't necessarily mean that there was a brine pool anywhere in a mind flare.
yeah. Well, I mean, maybe they captured him because he had a tadpole,
Maybe.
but
Maybe.
He is a barbarian, right?
No,
Ah.
which is
no,
the surprising
he's a monk,
thing.
right?
No, he's a ranger,
He's a ranger. That's what he is, right?
What?
which always threw me off because the first time I met him, I thought he would be like a paladin or something, or a barbarian. But like,
I remember looking at him being like, he looks like a barbarian or a monk, and right, he's fucking
True.
not.
Well,
a ranger of all things.
the thing why I thought he was a barbarian is because I'm very overwhelmed with the weird complexity of the Baldur's Gate 1 combat system. I have kind of figured it
Okay.
out, but it's weird as hell to me. Seems like luck and chance. But what I figured out is that Minsk can kind of berserk, and he has this spell where he gains more health. Like, he enters this kind of a, like, frenzy. And
Mhm.
you can't, I mean, I don't think I can control him at that time when he's in there, and he just slashes everything and anyone. I think he even slashed, like, my party members at one point while fighting Mulahay.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like, I
Right.
was like, what the fuck is going on? It's a lot, okay? But that's why I thought he was a barbarian. I haven't read his character sheets, I have to say. But
It happens.
and then the thing is, he has like heavy armor. He had the best armor from the moment you meet him. He uses a two-handed sword and is proficient in that. I would have
ranger behavior
never.
right
Yeah,
there.
that's why I would never have thought he was a ranger. And I guess maybe they're gonna change that about him.
I mean, he's still a ranger. He's always been a ranger, but like, I think part of it is that it comes from Boo, or it's supposed
Yeah.
to come from Boo, because Boo is supposed to be a miniature giant space hamster,
Mhm.
Right.
and as the mount of Boo, the mount being Minsk is supposed to gain extra powers and abilities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
He's a
supposed to be-
barbarian at heart, but a ranger by trade.
Yeah, because like it's stupidly strong. You get stupidly strong, so it makes sense that he can carry like a two-handed sword
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I think it was, if he is infected, then he currently doesn't have Boo, in which case he would be underpowered, but because of the tadpole, he still has other abilities then.
But that would, I mean, not having Boo would be a good excuse for the game to basically be like, oh no, Minsk
Go
lost
back
all
at
of his
level one.
levels.
Yes.
Huh.
Now you can make him a barbarian. No. He's gonna multi-class, and once he gets Boo back, he actually multi-classes in Ranger and Barbarian. It's pretty fucking wild, you know?
Maybe. Actually, maybe.
But I think originally they had him like as Ranger because you have the animal companion for Ranger, and that's what Boo
Mhm.
was.
But that's so weird. Like, to me, that's, I mean, I see
It
and
is
I
weird,
get
but
why.
it's also funny.
Yeah, it is. But it's like, he is everything, like, he has all the traits of like a, barbarian or fighter or something like that. And then it's just like, yeah, but he has an animal and he talks to it. So he's a ranger.
So he's a ranger.
Yeah. He has to be. He likes animals. He's a ranger. Can't be anything else. Mm-mm.
It's actually illegal for anybody to be anything other than a ranger. If they
Yeah,
like
no.
animals.
Can't
Can't even
do
be a
that.
druid.
Mm-mm. Need to be a ranger.
Actually, not quite true. You
Jokes.
can be a druid and you can summon things.
Yeah, of course, but like,
No.
still,
them.
you can't. It has to be a ranger.
Yep.
Yes.
Can't do it. I'm sorry, I have to put my lights on. It's so dark, I can't read my notes anymore.
Why were your lights not on in the first place? It's
Because
nighttime.
I know. I was running, okay? I was running. I was so late for the recording session, yeah. The others were like
It's
waiting for me
okay.
for 20 minutes. But
And we would wait here.
do we have anything else to add to this trailer, because we're already recording for 40 minutes and we have only covered one trailer.
I do have one thing, and only one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that they did have some updated character models for the chosen generals of the Absolute in that video.
Oh yeah, very true.
And so you could see the updated version of what Catherick Thorm was supposed to look like, and what Gortash was supposed to look like, and whatever the third lady is supposed to look like. And I was mentioning just before this, it appears that she has a lot of midriff showing.
Yeah,
Maybe
Good for her.
She is.
Or something.
She
And I'm
looks
thinking,
hot.
like, what classes might have
Monk.
that sort of a
Monk.
thing? Monk is
Monk.
one.
Monk.
Some sort of a fighter, maybe. If she's trying to be, like, maybe somewhat stealthy, could be roguish in nature or something like that. But she was supposed to be a pale woman with even paler eyes.
Paler eyes, yeah. Was it said that she's an elf?
They did not say.
Oh, okay. I don't know why, but I had elf in my head, but it looked like her ears were not pointy.
You couldn't see what her ears were in the silhouette.
A little bit. Let me go back. Let me see, because I went back and really looked at it. There was one moment where the light was shining, but maybe not. No, okay, no, you can't see. Maybe I was just... I really thought I saw her ears. Well, anyhow.
From what we know, we've got Catherick, who is an elf. We've got Gortash, who appears to be a human. And then whatever she happens to be. But she's humanoid.
Maybe she's an orc.
Or she could be a half-elf.
Yeah, could be.
You know what?
Being half naked reminds me of orc ladies.
You know?
Yeah, good.
And like because she looks like she's wearing like light to medium armor, and I was like, who would wear that? And
Something on the lighter side, I think.
yeah, it just looks like she has like some like spikes
Leather
or
pants.
something, or there's
Some leather
some.
pants with maybe some fur or something on it.
I think it's more something like beads even, or it doesn't look like fur to me, but I could be 100% wrong. Or it could be some sort of fabric or something like this. But it kind of reminds me of like beads or something spiky.
I think beads would have more weight to them and they would have pulled it down more.
Yeah,
True.
very true. It's just, I don't know, something about her outfit makes it look more pointy, or to me, like, I was like, okay, she might be, I don't know why, but I was like, she might be a cleric, because it looked to me more like armor.
Maybe.
But yeah, monk could be.
Would be the only
I don't know, I just-
fighting class.
We have a lot of other classes. We haven't really seen any monks, and I know it's because like their class wasn't in early access and isn't going to be, but like I just want a monk.
Yeah.
Same.
Are there pale orcs?
Not to my knowledge. But
In Lord of the Rings,
Interesting though. But yeah, she does look half naked. Maybe she's just wearing a bra or
that's the
something.
thing, though.
maybe really hot, okay? Like, we haven't taken into consideration her temperature regulation. Like, maybe she just gets really hot really easily.
Or she really is a barbarian. Like maybe she's a half orc barbarian. Something like that.
Okay.
Like
She
I
could
would
be, but her face
if
seems a little bit small.
if we get a half orc barbarian here, or I don't know, evil playthrough,
Oh.
here I come. Hello.
That's the last thing. That's the last thing about that trailer is they showed a larger, more muscly body type.
Good.
Ooh.
Let my character be thick.
Where did I see that? Let me see. What was
I think
that?
it's
That would've been,
important.
like, a
I
way
should
back
not be
in the day.
playing a woman who's like supposed to be super strong, or like even a man who's like super strong and 20 strength and have like a little noodle body.
Yes.
True. Little noodle
Give
body.
me those guns.
Where was?
It
Oh,
was
there.
it was more like Halcyon sort of muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Halson's built.
And I've seen a lot of
He's
people who ask
respectful.
for that. Who really
Respectfully,
wanted that.
Halson is built.
Well,
He is. Like, oh my god, when we
Oh,
first
yes.
get a glimpse of his bicep, like, I'm like, hello, sir. That's why he's called Daddy Halson, okay?
I will never call him that, but okay.
I will also not call him that.
I
That
will
was
call him
coined by
that
Chublot.
all day long, man. That's why I'm here.
Chublot gets that. That is totally Chublot coined that.
Oh my god. Yeah. I think I saw his video and then everybody was like, Daddy Halson, let's go. You will live up to the name, okay?
I mean, if you get a chance to marry him, sure.
True. I mean, hello?
My mom's calling.
Oh yeah, okay, wait. Let's
No, it's a joke. It's a joke.
Oh,
it's a
okay.
joke.
Mommy's
Oh,
calling.
Yeah, my mom's calling. She says we can't do this podcast anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Should we move on to the first Catherick then?
you guys bring
Great idea.
the knowledge, and I bring the simpage. Okay.
Okay, so no. I bring a little bit of knowledge. Mizu brings most of the knowledge. You bring the simpage, and then I also only bring comedic relief.
I
along
love
with
it.
the
Yeah.
knowledge. I can't do anything seriously for a long extended period of time.
But I love it,
Um,
especially you are representative of all the people who do not want to hear us simp over Astarion for such a
Hey,
long.
I also love him. Stop.
No, I
Anyway,
know, but when we
so
go
Jake
into like, oh my
Simmons,
god,
right,
when he
guys?
bites our neck, and then oh my god, yes, drink our blood, and then you're like, okay.
And I'm like, ooh, sorry, guys, it's we've been doing this for a little while. We gotta move on. So Jake Simmons, I would listen to him read the phone book. So I'm really excited that he is a character in this game, and I am just going to listen to this character talk. I will take as many dialogue options as possible. Also, like, Catherick's a really interesting character, so.
True. From what I've seen, which is, I need to first check, but just the second trailer because all my notes are chaotic as fuck.
Well, while you figure out the trailer, I will just interject some of the knowledge.
Okay.
We first hear about Catherick from Shadowheart, who tells us that he brought an army of dark justiciaries down into the Underdark to try to go to Moonrise Towers and like fight them there. And as I mentioned earlier, that was in 1391 DR. And that was
we're in
considered 1492.
92? Yeah, okay.
And that year was considered the Year of Wrathful Eye. So that's something for you.
I'm sure nothing terrible happened.
Haha, not according to my notes.
Mizu's like, ha, joke's on you.
Well, for me, the first thing that, popped up into my eyeball when I saw that trailer was the weird, big, summoning, sacrificing circle that we can see.
Oh, yeah.
And it has the mark of the absolute on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And whatever he's doing there, he seems to be able to control the dead, I think, because he's got like that dead dog with him and everything.
Yeah, I think he's
That's
a
what that
necromancer.
looks like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, he also has the symbol of the absolute all over him. And I mean
The armor.
his armor is very interesting. I would be really interested because we have all the three symbols, right? In the absolute
Correct.
thing. So he might be I mean, you guys said that the absolute might be considering of the three
The dead three.
Yeah, the dead three.
The dead three, yeah.
So maybe each one of them has like a power.
They do.
So he would. I mean,
They each have something that they're like in charge of and have power over and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I saw that trailer initially, I thought that maybe for him it was Merkel. Because he's the one who took over the job from our withered friend. And since he appears to be able to do stuff with the undead down there, it's unlikely that he follows Merkel out of the three.
I mean, I don't remember anymore who did what. I know was it the Bald children?
The Bald children are the offspring of Baal.
Yeah. I was just
the god of murder.
Yeah.
And then
so I remember now who at least who Merkel is and Ball, and then the third one
Rip
was
Bane, I guess.
But well, wait, I just noticed on his armor he has a bunch of skeletons.
Yes.
In gold, in the fabric, like the pattern of his fabric is little skeletons.
Yes.
Which is very interesting.
Again, made me think maybe Merkel.
Definitely. And the dead hands and everything. Well, everything about him screams Necromancer at this point.
What? Right. You mean the fact that his armor looks like it has actual ribs on it over his rib cage and all this? Yeah, no, he's absolutely probably some sort of necromancy power through the absolute, and which, if we're going with the whole absolute, is. Sorry, that was the dog.
That's okay.
It's dinner time, so she's really happy running around.
One of the abilities that I saw him use in the trailers did appear to be necrotic in nature when he shot it out in a cone towards everybody. I was about to say,
you can be a grave or a death cleric, so if he has devoted himself to a god and he has... Clerics have so many necrotic spells that they have access to, which is fucking wild, considering you think of a cleric.
As a grave cleric, I am well aware of how badass that can be.
Yeah, so, like, he could be, like, a grave or a death cleric, technically, where he's, like, in petition to this god, and that's where he gets his powers from, but all of his powers are dealing with the undead and things like that. Like,
I don't remember if he was supposed to be a paladin or a cleric, though. He may have been a paladin.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I mean, Oathbreaker paladins do get the whole like undead or stronger around them stuff.
And
but,
the
like,
Oathbreaker paladin is in that particular video.
Yeah, I did the Oathbreaker dude, like, who teaches you how to be an Oathbreaker paladin or whatever.
Yes.
So maybe he's an Oathbreaker paladin. Who knows? I'd be pretty fucking neat.
That would be really cool because he also has that heavy armor. But it could also.
I think grave clerics and war clerics have death clerics have or whatever have proficiency in heavy armor, don't they?
I don't know, but what I
War
noticed...
clerics would. War clerics would.
Life clerics do, and I know order clerics do as well. I just can't remember which other ones do, but I know some of them do, so...
As a grave cleric, I did not.
Okay. I haven't played my grave cleric in like 2 months, so I don't remember.
But
Well,
his armor reminds me of Shadowhat's armor.
a little bit.
Kinda, yeah. And what I notice is, at like 1 minute and 27 seconds, he has a bludgeoning weapon. I don't know, the hammer thing.
Oh, the warhammer?
Yeah. And
what I noticed about that is that he does 43 damage even though every person made their saving throw.
ooh. That sounds
Anyway,
strong.
yeah, he definitely has, and cleric and paladins can both use that kind of weapon.
Mm-hmm. It just reminded me again of Shadowhat, and the only person I know who's proficient in that is Shadowhat, so that's where my knowledge comes from.
It would make sense, because like originally, before the Absolute, he was a Shar worshipper.
Yeah.
So it totally makes sense that he would remind you of Shadowheart.
And it would also, well, he could be maybe a Shar paladin, but it would make a lot of sense if he was a Shar cleric at one point.
I think, though, because of what happened in his past, he
wouldn't.
dropped
He'd be an
Shar.
oathbreaker if he was still a paladin.
Yeah.
He dropped Shar for the Absolute. And before...
Yeah, definitely he did. Just
all the recording that we were talking about, everybody who seems to like have a tadpole or have abilities and whatnot seems to be given this way out of their current situation by the Absolute.
yeah.
Everybody seems to have something they're trying to escape from.
Which is wild. When you said that, when we chatted about that in the in our group chat, I was like,
yeah.
that gif with a guy whose mind explodes, just like, because it made so much sense, and everything connected in my brain. I was like, oh my god, that's the same with Astari, and that's the same with Gale, that's the same with Will. It makes sense for Shadowheart if she's a Selionide, and well, it also makes sense for Lizelle, to have a way out from Vlaakith, which she might not yet know about, or maybe she's different from the other Githyankies, or I don't know, but apparently the Absolute knows.
She's been slowly coming around when we talk to her about the Gith. And you can like talk her into doing certain things that somebody who is super devoted wouldn't normally do.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely. It's just that, I mean, yeah, she probably had some doubts before she was abducted. Otherwise, I don't know how, because everybody had a thing that the Absolute could sense or see that they needed a way out, one way or the other.
Right.
But for Lizelle, I was struggling to find that point, because she seems really devoted to Vlaakith, but maybe she is like behaving differently. Maybe she has more of, the Githyanki remind me of ants. I'm sorry, they do. They remind me of, they have the queen and everybody's like working hard and I don't know, becoming a fighter and stuff. And maybe Lizelle was born to be the next queen, I don't know. I also don't know how ants handle another born queen, if they just throw them out, or I don't know if they notice it.
Well, bees can kill someone that they do not accept as their queen. They'll kill another bee if they don't accept it, if they don't want it to be their queen, and they'll raise another one to be the queen.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that maybe Lizelle could be like, oh, Vlaakith, you know what, you're old, we need a new queen. It is time in the Githyanki years.
Vlaakith isn't the only Vlaakith that there's ever been. But now she is, she's undead. So she's just sort of keeping herself in that position for centuries now.
Okay, then my whole theory makes sense.
Also, I do have to go soon because we have dinner plans.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. Then
So-
let's wrap this up. We need to get through the trailers here. Or do you want?
You can keep. I mean, like I did, like. Unfortunately, soon I did not realize what time it is.
No, it's fine. We have
And
been.
I sweat at work all day, and I really need to shower before we go eat food in public.
Okay. I will then quickly say a quote from Catherick. He talks about how his wife had died really young, and he had to raise his daughter. And then, like, after his daughter was killed, that's basically when he started breaking down, and he started selling pieces of himself off. Right. And that's probably about when the Absolute entered the picture for him.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that's reasonable, yeah.
But let me just.
Next trailer is.
Oh, I mean, I think we can still talk about this trailer now. I would say now we don't have the time thingy, but for everybody listening, Liz had to leave. As she said, she has dinner plans, and now it's Mizu and Ming. It's Mizu and me, and we're just gonna, we're gonna continue.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah, we're gonna. I mean, I think Liz said it's fine, it's all good. And we will have her back in the next episode. But yeah, I agree with you on, I absolutely think that the Absolute also came in at that time of his life, because he probably was, that's kind of the, I don't know which trailer it was. The next one.
The second trailer. Yeah, that's the second trailer.
Yeah, I think
he talks about
the one with J.K. Simmons.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, so I think we can just merge them. So we are talking right now, because I didn't say it, I'm sorry. We're talking about the Baldurs Gate 3 release date reveal trailer, and as well the one is called In the Booth with J.K. Simmons as General Catherick Thorne. Yeah.
A couple of times he talks to us during that trailer, and at one point he tells us, "You're a pawn, a slave to forces you cannot comprehend." And it's like, which forces is he talking about? He's not talking about the worm, is he?
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, if he's with the Absolute, you would think that would be okay, but ours are different somehow. Is that what he means?
I think that, I'm not sure if he has a tadpole, but we are kind of chosen as well in a weird sense, or we didn't go through the process correctly.
We got interrupted.
Yeah.
Which is why we know that we have tadpoles in us.
Yeah.
And nobody else seems to. So, like, he probably has a tadpole.
I guess.
I think all of them were if they're the chosen of them.
And I think he's probably talking about the Absolute. Or not, well, the plan of the Absolute. When he's talking about you're a pawn and a slave, two forces you cannot comprehend, in the what they have planned for us.
And right now we have no idea, except that they showed us Baldur's Gate on fire, and they want us to do something there like that.
Yeah.
Make it easier to take over.
And that's the next trailer, which we're not yet gonna get into, but we kind of know that they have the city under their control because of Gortash, but we won't get into that more later. But that I guess that might be the big thing. because it's also, we all know the game is called Baldur's Gate. So seems that Baldur's Gate has a really important role in the game and in the plot. As well as I'm also going to take a little bit from the Baldur's Gate reveal of the city, where they said it felt like Baldur's Gate was the destination. So I really think that there's going to be like the final boom or something in the city is happening and the Absolute is trying.
That's the thing too. Like, it's not the first time that the city has been under the influence of mind flayers or the Dead Three. There's been there's the one Duke who has a mind flayer influence on her, and now they're trying to do the same thing to Uldren Ravengard when he got taken to Moonrise from that little town up on the Risen Road that was on fire. So, like, that one specifically is Absolute related.
Yeah.
And then going again with Gortash, they're trying to get more people in the political spectrum that they have control over. So they're trying to do something big in town.
Yeah. Some sort of overtaking the town. But I think we should talk about that in the next trailer, and go more in depth about it, because I only have one more thing for this trailer specifically. I think that I
have one more thing for Catherick in general.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get to talk. Just a little bit after his releasing of the Shadow Curse from the Moonrise Towers to like the areas around it, he fought Halsin, and he beat Halsin, and he had to retreat. So that's why Halsin wants to go with us to Moonrise Towers to help try and get rid of the Shadow Curse and to fight Catherick Storm. So we could potentially have him with us during those missions as well.
That makes a lot of sense. So, is Catherick? Does he have the curse?
He released the curse.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And so it's just ramaging and doing damage, and as we know from Halsin, he said it's against nature and he has to stop it.
Yeah, because it's slowly been spreading for decades at this point. And like little portals to the Shadowfell have been opening and causing some of that essence to leak over into our world, which is what like the Shadow Curse kind of is. And so what Halsin has to do is find a way to close all of those portals off. So then the land has time to heal and recover and become what it once was before all of that. Because like right now, it would be the equivalent of like a tar sands or tar pits. If you're like walking through an area and it's just bubbling black goo that can turn you evil if you stay in it too long or hurt you.
Ugh. It's like venom.
Kind of like venom, yeah.
Well, I just spotted the create a hero in that trailer, where we can make a custom hero, or it seemed like it, and I guess you can also it looked like there were more options other than custom, so maybe there's like a set TAV, as well as I saw body types in there as well, which is really exciting.
Well, there was some information that was released more recently via the Twitter account where there were maybe some preset characters that you could recruit. There was like mercenaries and things of that nature that you were supposed to be able to recruit into the party in order to help you. So those would be like preset characters that you could have help you as well.
That
So
is
it
very
could be
interesting.
possible. It could be possible that those people that we were seeing were some of the presets.
Yeah, I guess because one is custom, and then the rest is, yeah, seems like it. And I saw that we also have an identity select thing. So that's really exciting because I think they didn't specify gender there. They called it identity, which I think is really cool. So I'm hoping that we can select a few different identities, I guess.
I mean, you can pretty much do that as is now. It just doesn't have an official label to it.
True. Yeah, I had a character in a kind of private playthrough that was more non-binary, which is, and we all love it. That we have this approach to the game that it kind of does not matter which gender your character has. Your romances still work. We probably have a little bit of that later in game, or maybe some romances might not work out. I don't know.
Usually at that point, what they do is they make the characters player sexual. So it doesn't matter what you choose. They're just interested in you as the player, regardless of what you want.
Exactly. Which I find cool.
Yes.
But yeah, that's all I saw in that trailer. That was like new to me. And yeah, in the other trailer from where we can see J.K. Simmons in the booth for voice acting, I just wrote down the like tragic story that Catherick is telling us is definitely about himself.
Yes.
Like this third person type thing, like let me tell you about a story about a man, right?
Yes.
And it is really, like, he seems really hurt still about the death of his wife, and then especially about his daughter. And we know that the daughter was killed, and the wife, I think, died?
Yeah, he said that his wife had died early, but he wasn't allowed to mourn because he had to be strong for his daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And then he had to raise her on his own until she became an adult and she would fight him and whatnot. And that was all good. It made him happy. But then she got killed.
Yeah.
And then he didn't know how to feel.
I mean, that is understandable.
Yeah.
No, didn't he say he broke, but he tried to stay whole? Or he did everything to stay whole instead of break?
He started like, selling pieces of himself off. And when he tried to get it all back, that's when things started going downhill.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So, maybe devils. But...
Well, devils are more in Gortash's side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I wrote down Catherick Thorn must die. I don't know if that's like something they say in the beginning. We'll look at that again.
I don't know that it is per se, but in the trailer, they do have Shadowheart, apparently, just charging at him, and I don't know if that's
something
that is supposed to happen if she's with you, or they just made the choice to play as her in that particular scene to do that.
He probably says something about Char. Like,
Probably.
some, I don't know.
Very disparaging words.
Yeah. Being very rude. And she's like, I can't have you tell shit about my lady here. I also saw right now in the trailer at 13 seconds, you can see a statue of a man, and I think it is a Shah.
A Shar worshipper?
Yeah, looks like Shar's symbol. I might be wrong. Could also be Selûne's, but I don't think so. But it does look like Catherick's armor set.
Maybe a younger version of him
Yeah.
put into a statue.
And it's still, let me see. Oh no. Okay, no. I thought it looked familiar there.
Well,
don't know.
maybe it looked a little bit like Nier, maybe?
Could be. I don't know. The armor set in particular, the arm armor looked very familiar.
Okay.
Well, I don't know where I saw it. Anyhow. I thought I spotted something. I did not. But yeah, it would make sense if he was a cleric once and then of Shar, and then something went wrong, or
when he
hates
lost
her.
his family, then he just like gave up on Shar because she didn't do anything for him. Maybe.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Lost faith in Shar.
Ooh, 100%. I mean, if he lost everything he loves, that happens a lot with people who lose their faith and turn around to some other deity. That would make a lot of sense if that happened to him. And also that charges Shar. Oh my god, today. Shadowheart would charges at him out of nowhere, kinda. But yeah.
You turned your back on Our Lady, how dare you?
Yeah. I can see her get really angry at that too. And I can see him really getting vile.
Yeah.
And taunting her. And she seemed in that trailer before, she seemed to wear that Char armor that we can find in the Underdog.
The Justiciary armor? Yeah.
Yes. It seemed like that long armor set. So he 100% would be able to see that she's a Shah worshipper just looking at her.
And it looked like in the Underdark that they all died. And I don't know if he killed them or if they died from natural causes, since the Underdark is just a scary place to begin with.
Oh my god. It might be that he killed all of them, like raging. And like in his moment of losing faith, absolutely. Maybe he did sell a piece of himself to gain some powers to kill them all, or have some, I don't know, something help him here. And that might also make sense why Shadowheart charges at him and he tells her, yeah, I killed them all. Or they were pathetic or something like that.
I think it would definitely be an interesting angle.
Yeah. That would be very interesting, because we first explore that part, see all the corpses and the destruction, and then meeting him, and then he would be responsible for that would be really cool. But should we go to the trailer with Gortash?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that one is called Baldurs Gate 3, Jason Isaacs takes over the city of Baldur's Gate. If you want to watch that. I'm gonna link it. But yeah, we meet Enver Gortash.
Lord Enver Gortash.
Ooh, is he a lord? I mean, he kind of looks like a lord. He kind of looks like a... He gives me the vibes of like a magician, but like a rock star magician.
Yes. He's got a really cool duster coat, and I love it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of... I think there's devils on it.
Which
if I'm
makes
not
sense
wrong.
because he was raised by devils.
Yeah. I mean, I only know that from you, but
Yes.
it does make a lot of sense. But I
Well,
like it too
in
that
the
he still
beginning-
wears them and has not turned his back on them completely, or maybe identifies as a devil even.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's funny that he's a politician because, like, politicians will lie and everything, and they have to be good liars, and they have got to be a very particular way. And a devil's silver tongue would definitely help him be a politician.
100%. And I have a feeling the way he looks, okay? The way he looks, I think he would have a high charisma score.
Yes.
He reminds me also of like these not dating coaches, but like these dudes on YouTube who sell courses to people on how to flirt with people. He
I
gives
don't
me
think
that
we've ever
vibe.
seen- Yeah. In the original trailer we were talking about, they tell us that he's like got a quick smile, quick eyes, quick smile.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think that maybe for him, he hates the devils, which is why he turned his back on them, which again, something to get away from. That's when the Absolute came in and swept him up.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did mention that he does not like the fact that he was raised by devils, and he was very against it.
It makes sense because devils aren't the most loving.
No.
But
But
I
they
find-
are evil lawful.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. I just find it interesting that he is still wearing...
Devilish kind of gear.
Yeah. And I mean, also it makes sense that the Absolute would choose him because he has connections to the devils. And
Yes.
we have the theory, and it makes a lot of sense for Baldur's Gate 3 with the whole logo and everything, that they want to abduct devils and try to make Mind Flayer devils. Or devil
Yes.
Mind Flayers.
Yes.
Get new powers and absorb and evolve their species even more. So it does make sense also that because he has a lot of insights on the devils, where to get them, how, whatever.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, for him, his quote is that you are soon to witness the people of Baldur's Gate granting me complete power over them. A mad dog understands the yank of the leash and the hand of its master, but cannot be its equal. You can be my equal.
Very true,
So-
yeah.
Everybody else in Baldur's Gate, he feels is beneath him. But because of potentially also being chosen by the Absolute, we are able to be by his side as an equal and not as some sort of puppet or lesser person in his eyes.
Which is interesting because Catherick talks differently to us.
Oh yeah.
Plus that quote... I mean, for me, it has like a weird romantic / flirtatious undertone, just because.
I mean, he was yelling it at people. I don't think it was flirtatious.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah. I'm just let me read it again. A rabid dog understands the leash's tear in the hand of its master, but it cannot be equal to him. You can be equal to me.
Yeah, we are not a mad dog.
Yeah.
We don't need to be yanked around by the leash. We don't need to be, like, disciplined.
We could be allies with him and maybe work for his interests, I guess.
Yeah.
And I mean, he kind of feels like that he is not, I wouldn't say better, but in the hierarchy over Cortash from the last.
Well, he says that he doesn't want to go scorched earth with the city. He wants it to be better. But, like, how is he planning to make it better? And how is the Absolute's goals being achieved through it?
True. I mean, if they're trying to maybe kill the city from inside out, it kind of would make sense that it would be destroyed, right? But I have a feeling maybe we could make him do what we want and try and break free from the Absolute and save the city, kinda, because he seems to not want best for the city, but he wants to own it and rule it, maybe.
Yeah.
More than
one thing
if he breaks it, then he loses it.
One thing I saw early on in it, in the trailer at like 12 seconds, is there's a man who is like having him go down on one knee, and he's trying to have him sworn in to the city to be its protector. I don't know if that's just a regular Flaming Fist individual, or even potentially Alter Ravengard if we manage to rescue him.
Let me see. I thought that was Gortash, but maybe just because...
Oh, no, there's Gortash on one knee, and there's a Flaming Fist individual with a sword.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry. He's like knighting him and telling him to take the oath to protect the city. At 2 seconds. And I was thinking that guy is a Flaming Fist, but maybe he's Ultra Ravengard?
Maybe. I mean, if he's like, I will now serve under you, kinda, might be, or it's one of the highest Flaming Fists, I guess, if he has that power. That looks like a very interesting sword. Is it glowing blue, or is that just the?
No, it is glowing blue. It's magical sword.
Ooh, okay. Can we steal it?
Probably not.
Which I also
think we would steal.
Which I also find very interesting. We have more of these robotic guards and all of these evolved mechanics everywhere. In all the trailers, we see like some sort of robots or
I would put these constructs in the same category as the Centurions from Skyrim.
Yeah.
The big robots that like walk around in the dwarven places.
Yeah.
They're just like meant to be a more superior type of guard that would be more terrifying if like they brought up a giant sword and started pointing it at you. You're like, okay, you're clearly much, much bigger than I am and have a much bigger sword. I will respect whatever you're saying right now.
Yeah, and they're everywhere. They're huge.
And they're everywhere. I would say they're between like 15 to 20 feet tall, almost. And they're just absolutely everywhere.
And we can even see it like 16 seconds. we see a pile of corpses just somewhere in the city. I have no idea where, and we just see that humongous robot thingy walking over them.
Taking over the job of like the hangman or the axe bearer.
Could be, but
slaughtering anybody who's not supposed to be alive because they did some sort of major crime.
But it's just, it looks like a really, the thing is, it's a really nice scenery. It's a nice day. There's flowers. It's really cute. It seems to be in front of like a cafe or something like that. There's some sort of letters that I can read. I don't know what type of language that should be, or I don't know. But there's just these corpses left and right, and we can see a dragonborn in there as well. Looks like a lizard person. Interesting. Among the corpses. And it's the scenery and the corpses, they don't really match. There's it doesn't look like much blood. Maybe a little bit.
Well, it could be like a display of power. Like, these people did something that they really shouldn't have. I'm going to put them on display so everyone will know not to mess with me. I'm serious business.
I think that these bots or robots, they're programmed or magically, programmed like Bernard, right?
Yes.
To just follow lawful. Like, I don't think they're actually aligned to anything. It's just lawful, and like at this specific time, let's say, nobody is supposed to be out. If it's 1 second after the time you're still out, you're gonna get slaughtered. Something like that.
Which is an extreme if that's what he's going for.
Yeah, like something like that, because there's so many dead people. I don't think either they might have like demonstrated for something and they have been slaughtered, or that's the first thing that comes to my mind, is just such a lawful thing that just follows the rules and is magically coded to do this and follow specific laws, and they won't know, or they can't like think for themselves. They only know this is right, this is wrong, you do wrong, even though it's like, maybe, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing too, like, how many times a day do you accidentally break the law without ever knowing it? You don't know.
Yeah.
And if they're coded to do that, they're going to be slaughtering people left, right, and center.
And I guess for us it's going to be a hard time.
Like, it would make
take
sense
them all down.
If it was like a large group of, say, the Zenturum or something. And they had caught like a bunch of thieves, and then they killed them there. And they were just putting them on display like, hey, look what we did. We caught all these guys who were doing bad things. This is what's going to happen if you're a bad guy in my city.
Yeah.
Like a power move warning.
But it looks too casual. These people are literally like just laying on the street. And there's like a little pathway still to, prance through. But even there is like one person lying in the street. And it looks non-intentional. Like, sure, if there's corpses just lying in the streets, yeah, that I would also say that can be a statement. But it just looks like whoopsie daisy. And it doesn't look, I think, still thieves wouldn't be in like such a nice area of the city. This might, I don't think this is the upper city at all. Maybe
I think it's probably the lower city, in which case it would make sense for them to be there.
It just
looks,
looks
that's the thing too.
Such a
if you look back
nice scenery.
If you look back at our own history, we were doing hangings in the streets. We would put people on crosses and pile books and wood and a whole bunch of stuff in front of them and just burn them in the streets.
Oof.
So having these large constructs mowing people down is not totally out of the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say, for instance, if it was, if you break this rule, you are dead. Let's just go with that. If somebody gets chopped down by one of those things, everyone starts freaking out and running. Wow, that's a lot of people jaywalking all of a sudden. Guess I gotta lop off their heads too.
Yeah.
And then everyone else starts running, and oh, there's more. Okay, let's go on a murder spree.
Oh, I can see that happening, and then everybody's just terrified and just tries to walk at a normal pace and stuff like that.
That would definitely be a bad look for Gortash if that was what he was trying to do, though.
I mean, if he was ruling with fear, which these big-ass robots definitely could.
Yes.
Yeah. I can see that happening. And then maybe that's why we have that
quote at the beginning.
Here, I mean, now it's, let me see, I need to put that in English. Right now it's in German. Is there even? Hello? There we go. Blade to defend the citizens of Baldurs Gate from enemies within. Right? And then we see all these random, just peasants, just normal people. It looks like normal people. So I think that's a that doesn't feel right? That scenery and that quote, because it makes it seem like Gortash is supposed to be a protector of the city.
Right, which is why I think, like, if it was a bunch of thieves and stuff, then it's like, hey, look what I did. I caught all these bad guys and I killed them.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone else would be like, oh, so you're trying to protect the city, you killed all these guys. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there goes the quote, you're going to see the people of Baldur's Gate granting me power over all of them. So like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, this guy's okay. We'll let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah, true. Maybe he's the one. That would kind of make sense if he's a sorcerer, and he is the one actually making these machines, or like infusing them with wild magic or something like that.
Yeah, helping do that.
That would make sense.
You do see some of them hung up in the trailer.
Yeah. It's like where
he could be using some powers to activate them and give them whatever commands they're supposed to follow.
Which is interesting, again, that we see these bots and these robots, or like these creature mechanic things. And I'm wondering if that is also one big thing that we get to find. Wait, that person who made Bernard is gone from the tower. Maybe they have captured them to make these things for that. And because oh my god, yeah, because they did these science project, yeah. They were trying to study this flower, right? To use it as power, and they were successful, as we know from the tower. And because they were studying it, that would make a lot of sense that now they abducted that person and make them build these machineries. And yeah.
Could be. Bernard and his other robotic friends are definitely a lot smaller than these constructs now.
100%.
And they're just massive.
But it makes sense for the scale as well. Like they need to be bigger, better, more
faster,
shiny.
Stronger. Yeah, chrome.
Interesting. And maybe because they have a necromancer, right? Maybe they're like, hey, we're gonna bring your dog back.
I mean, there is a dog with Catherick.
Oh. But we see... Oh, do they need the corpse? Because the corpse is still there, right? We see the bones.
We found like the collar and maybe some bones.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Ooh, imagine. All the plot twists. Let me see. Oh yeah, I just wrote down that he wears light armor, so maybe he's a sorcerer, but I 100% think he might be a sorcerer now.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's a whole bunch of different classes that can use charisma, and like warlock would kind of make sense. Like the patron
Yeah, true.
would also
Or
be his
a
parents,
rogue.
maybe.
He reminds
Or
me
a
also
rogue,
of a
that was
rogue from his Chevy
Yeah.
looks.
Yeah. He could even be a multi-class character too.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
And if they had this wizard or sorcerer from the tower, then he wouldn't have to use any wild magic to get them alive.
Hmm.
And if they just use that flower thing, the sulfur flower, I think it was, then that would make a lot of sense as well. Do I have any more? Well, yeah, I wrote down the Catherick and Gortash conflict, which, yeah, seems like they
Which is something
have.
we see at the end.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a lot of stuff in that video. There's at one point they zoom out of like this red crystal and banner sort of looking area, and there's a creature that's like suspended in between all of the stuff. And then there's like banners that kind of look like nautiloid tentacles, just like floating up and down in part of it. And then you see Catherick and Gortash speaking to each other, and a whole bunch of stuff. It's really wild in that trailer.
Oh, I need to see if I. Also, I saw now again, that there's a bunch of random dead people laying in the streets with like 3 of these guardians, and like us standing in front of them, and yeah. It looks like they're just slaughtering people left and right. But when did you see the creature suspended?
Let me go back and take a look.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was like 2 minutes and 11 seconds or 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Something like right around there. I will go back and check though. Hold on.
Oh, in which trailer? Oh, in the Baldurs Gate trailer.
Yeah.
Where we can see the city?
It might be in the Baldurs Gate trailer.
Oh, okay. Let me check. I wasn't there.
No, wait, it wouldn't be that one. It would definitely be the one that has him in it. Hold on.
Okay.
In one of the pictures for Twitter, I noticed that for the giant automatons, the constructs, some of them have different colors.
Oh, yeah.
Like one of them I'm looking at right now is a navy blue, but just behind him is one that's like fully red. And I wonder if that denotes maybe a different level of authority. Like one is supposed to be in charge of the other ones.
I think so, because in the trailer we can see that black one standing in front of 2 red ones, and the red ones do not have their sword pulled or really doing anything, but the black one is like squatting down, and seems like it's going to attack us. So I really think it's like generals or something like that, like a different hierarchy.
It could definitely be, yes.
Otherwise, I do not really see anything different on them. I'm trying to look at their little birds on their head, but seems like it's the
you
same
mean
one.
the little pompadour fluffs?
Mm-hmm.
It is. a video here which didn't make it into their YouTube account. That's why I couldn't find it.
Ah, okay. I will try to play it right now. It might be really loud because I need to mute it. You won't hear it, Mizu, but like or maybe wait.
Perfectly fine.
I will mute my desktop audio for a second so we can't hear you for like 5 seconds. I will tell you again when we can hear you. Let me just quickly. Yeah, because it starts with there we go. Wait,
Not
now.
very long.
Now we can hear you again.
Okay. The video is not very long, but you can see the creature I was talking about suspended like right away.
Ooh, the quality is awful.
Yeah, it never made it to YouTube. If it did, it would be better.
Yeah, that's just Twitter videos for me.
Right, so there's the creature suspended there. It pulls out to some sort of dark underground area, and then there's like tentacles and stuff over on the right side.
Yeah, I'm trying to open it on. Yeah, that's way better. On Twitter. Oh damn. Okay, yeah, that is that just. I think that's the symbol of the absolute. The suspend. Ooh, ugh, yeah, I see the. That is weird. Where the hell is that?
Right?
Looks like maybe, well, kind of underdark, but also very much Mind Flayer territory. Very fleshy, much brains.
Yeah, like it looks really weird.
When do we see the creature Oh, is it the...
Right at the beginning.
Right. With the weird fleshy things?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that just the... I think that's the absolutes symbol.
Well, no, because like it's a full creature that's suspended in this like red light. It's not just the mark of the absolute. It is a physical creature that's suspended in that stuff. My initial thought was like maybe it was an Umbra Hulk or something like that, but I'm not entirely sure. It's definitely like a monster of some sort, a creature. Maybe something that we'll have to fight.
Maybe.
Possibly.
For me it looks... I mean, maybe I'm not fully seeing it. For me it looks like a skull.
Oh no, it's a full-on creature with arms and legs. I think Wolfheart has a clearer video of it from the Summerfest. When they were doing the video release there.
For me right now, that looks like just like a skull that's like maybe missing the lower jaw, and it has like fleshy things going through the eye. And just the... Otherwise, I don't really see anything else. Well, anyhow, that's really cool though, especially seeing like, oh, the meat that's hanging up there, or people. It might be people, might be arms or something like that. There's one person definitely hanging there. No, 2 people definitely. 3 maybe, but that is not looking nice.
Well, that's gonna be a fun quotations area to run into.
And that's where both... that's where we can see Gortash and Catherick meeting.
Yeah.
In that weird little place. Maybe that's Moonrise Towers, but
if it is, it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
But in that one scene where it looks like there's like a pool of some sort in a giant tank, you can see what looks like maybe banners or tentacles like
Mm-hmm.
moving side to side on the right side.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's tentacles, but it could be worms.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff it could be. Like, that room is really big, though, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it reminds me, I don't know. One of Mind Flayers, two kind of the hag, but maybe just because it's green. And then spiders? There's some sort of weird thing living there, I think. There must be some sort of weird creature living there. That one thing also looks like maybe a werewolf or something. I don't know. It reminds me of some sort of...
A werewolf would be interesting.
Yeah.
And we do know that there is the one halfling werewolf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think this one is dead. Can you tell me again when you thought or when this creature is being seen?
Right at the very beginning.
Very beginning. So it's not like at 7 seconds?
No, it's the very first thing that you see.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I will link the cleaner version of that.
Yeah, please.
To a little bit later from Summerfest from like a few weeks back.
Yeah, thank you. Because I'm staring at it and
Like on Twitter, it's always like way smaller too.
Huh. Well, yes. I've been replaying that again and again. I will save that and I will definitely edit that into the episode. I think that's all I have for that trailer.
Okay.
That only leaves us with the Baldurs Gate trailer for the city.
Returning after 20 years.
Mm-hmm. And... well, I don't have much for that, honestly. I have only like 4 points, which is one big thing that all of us, I think, heard. And we're like, what is the city will be seamless?
Mm-hmm.
Then how they talked about that you are able to look out of the windows and see like everything going on.
You can see like down each level of the town.
Mm-hmm. Which is amazing. I mean, just imagining seeing like all the NPCs around, right? Nothing's like needs to load in or anything like that. Well,
and there's over 1,000 of them.
I guess they need to load in. I'm thinking about when we run down the grove, right? I think the characters are also kind of loading in when you go into the area, and if you leave it there, they disappear again, I think. If I'm not wrong.
Well, it would make sense to save space, yeah.
Yeah, and to make it like not ruin your PC and make it melt. So I take that back. I'm sorry. But I think it's still cool to look out of the window and see everything. Maybe not the NPCs. They're probably not going to be there for us to look at. But at least we can see it like far and wide.
I think my favorite part of it was that Sven said that you could talk to almost everybody.
Yeah.
And they would have something to say. And they'd have some sort of backstory to it.
That's insane. Yeah, to make every NPC feel like an actual person and an actual being in this world instead of, Oblivion NPCs. And I also have... let me see. Well, yeah, that we have lots of locations to go to look at,
Absolutely.
to visit. And... remember when we in the episode where we talked about the city, where we were like, oh my god, I wish we could go into, I don't know, taverns, inns, and just explore everything. I think they've done that. Maybe you can't enter into every house because it makes sense that people lock their doors.
Yeah.
So you can't just march into their homes. But I hope we have like some sort of Fable
It-
moment from
it
Fable 2
appears,
where you can
it
just
appears
slash
that
into
you
the.
can go to inns.
Hmm?
It appears that you can go into some taverns or inns.
Yeah, definitely. I just hope that maybe we can barge into some homes. In Fable 2, you can knock at every door. People say like no, but you could like kick in the door, which would
That
be
would be
fun.
fun.
I don't know if they do that, but it would be fun. And well, yeah, that they said that Baldur's Gate would be the destination, or it felt like the destination for the game when they made the city and they were building up to the big boom moment.
It is the namesake of the game.
Yeah. Makes a
It
lot
is
of
Baldur's
sense.
Gate. They need Baldur's Gate to be powerful when you go and see it. They need to make a statement with it.
Yeah, and I mean, what we have seen from the game already, everything is pretty much alive. There's a lot of shit you can just take with you if you wanted to, like plates, cups, whatever. And it does give a lot of immersion and also complexity, right? And
imagine selling all of that random stuff that you've been collecting at your camp for just hours and hours of travel, being a kleptomaniac and just selling it all in Baldur's Gate.
I mean, you could. With these big ass robots running around, maybe you really don't want to commit theft, though.
Well, I'm not saying theft. I'm saying sell the things that you've been a kleptomaniac for in the first several hours of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, you could.
Taking cups and candle holders and whatever else you can get your hands on and just selling it there.
But I like the way that they also made it hard to steal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in Skyrim it wasn't really that hard to steal, and I feel like in Baldur's Gate, I mean, yeah, you can sneak and like, you know, get it, definitely, but it feels complex to steal for me personally.
Well, let's say that you're a Starian and you're using a mage hand. You can pick somebody's pocket from 30 feet away without them ever knowing.
What? God damn it. I need to try more stuff out. I once tried when we still had, well, it's still kind of hard to get good gear and buy everything and get money, but I noticed with with more patches, we were able to find more money. Especially, I think, with a supply system to be able to buy supplies. But yeah, back then, I think in patch 3 or 4, I think it was patch 3, I spent a lot of time trying to just pickpocket.
Rob people?
Yeah, pickpocket myself and get some nice armor and weapons.
Well, the thing is, like, now with the introduction of the bard, you can distract a whole bunch of people and then, like, have your other party members go around and just start picking people's pockets. If nobody is noticing you, go for it.
I love
if somebody if somebody were to have, like, greater invisibility eventually, then you can cast that on Astarion and just pick everybody's pocket and it wouldn't bring him out of invisibility.
Oh, that would be amazing.
You could rob so many people.
I would. I would definitely do that. Oh, and I love that they also said, when you said, you know, everybody, you can talk to everyone, that every person in Baldur's Gate is supposed to have their own story.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like a really deep story, but everyone can have a story there.
Yeah, or you could even like imagine something, right? But at least you can talk to them and have like more than just not now, I am busy. And everybody says that to you.
There also seems to be like a large presence of thieves, which we already knew.
Mm-hmm.
Like a whole bunch of people like clad in cloaks and like wandering around the dark parts of the alleys and streets. Just doing their business.
Ooh, I also have a point of the Undercity plays a significant role where choices can lead to evil befalling the city.
Mm-hmm. And the Undercity is definitely a part of the game I think we're going to be able to go visit.
Ooh,
You know what?
imagine the little tiefling kids ruling the
Yeah.
Undercity and making a bunch of money.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That would be amazing. And I mean, we can give them some money, right? Invest in
But it
them.
also occurred to me, what if the place where Minsk is in the Undercity?
That would be interesting, but the thing is, it looked too fancy, I think. And we had these two guards with these also fancy armor sets. Heavy armor
Right,
sets.
but like you can do pretty much whatever down there. What if one person like set up a really fancy shop or something?
Yeah, could be. Sure.
I mean, heck, for all we know, they could have been like really high class slavers or something. You don't
Yeah.
know.
True. I'm skimming through my notes right now, seeing if...
Well, one of the things that I noticed was that there was a holophant.
Oh yeah, the funny little elephant thingy.
Yes. So that is a tiny celestial, actually.
Oh.
And they're like lawful good, and they come from like Mount Celestia. And it looked like maybe it was part of the circus. Maybe?
Oh, that
Sort of
would
like
make so
Dumbo.
much sense, right?
Well, like yes and no, because like they're sentient creatures, so it wouldn't be good for him
No.
or her.
But if we, Wolfhard talked about the possibility of seeing a circus or like a
Yeah, when you go
carnival.
into the city, there are posters for the carnival, which is run by a Shatterkai and another elf.
So maybe
And
that
they're
little
like
elephant
somewhere.
guy comes from that carnival, and
Yes.
maybe we freed it or something like that.
Could be.
That would be cool. Like, imagine that would be the third pet.
The third pet.
Just collecting pets left and right. Or fourth
Well,
if we have Boo.
That one is definitely more intelligent. And like it's not an animal, it is a celestial.
But it looks like an elephant.
I know it looks like an elephant, but it's like a lawful good small celestial creature. It's not an animal.
Yeah.
It's a companion creature, but it's not an animal.
Maybe we can just gaslight it into thinking it is. And being like, you're cute, I want to have you.
Oh man.
Imagine. Just this
I mean, they
intelligent
can
being.
speak. They can speak, so like we'll have to see how it feels.
Oh god.
I had a quote from one of the designers, actually, from that game. All the things that you've done up to the city really matter. You can really feel the conclusion of everything just gathering there.
Ooh. I don't like
And
that.
from Anna Gookins, the RPG designer.
The stress.
The stress.
Yeah,
But like I can see that too, because you do see Alfira in that trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, if you kill the tieflings, they're not there. If you don't
Correct.
give the kids a bit of money, maybe, things will be different. The Zerentarim or Zentarim.
Yeah. Zentarum.
I think they will also be in Baldur's Gate. The hag.
Absolutely.
We know about the hag.
We know about a hag.
Yeah, the coven.
Yeah.
Marina and her husband. Everybody's
We don't know
gathering
where they're going.
in Baldur's Gate.
A lot of people that we talked about in the last podcast end up in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. And it makes a lot of sense that our actions have massive consequences in Baldur's Gate, or how the city will feel, or what will happen in the city.
Which reminds me.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I found something that is amazing to something you just said when you're talking about Marina.
Mm-hmm.
I found out you can save the brothers.
Wait, you can?
You can save the brothers, and they end up in a little place just outside of Baldur's Gate.
Oh, that's amazing. I know you wished to be able to.
Yes.
I don't know if we can yet. Probably not in the early access.
You can right now.
Oh, really?
You can.
Interesting. That's probably pretty complex to do, though, right?
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly it comes from agreeing with them the whole time.
Yeah, makes sense. It's scary as hell because, Auntie Ethel, but...
Mm-hmm. Well, eventually you speak to Auntie Ethel, and she tells you that they're in this, like, barn or just little place just outside of Baldur's Gate. So, like, she tells you herself, they're over there.
Before they even come to try and get Marina?
Well, if you talk to them a certain way, they end up just at this place outside of Baldur's Gate instead of getting killed by her.
Okay. Instead of getting Marina, you're like, hey, let me deal with this.
Actually, no.
Oh, okay.
That will kill them. That will kill them.
Interesting. Okay.
I will send you that video as well.
Mm-hmm. I think that's amazing. Because I want to save them, if I can.
Right?
Because Marina, that would be amazing for her to have her brothers.
Yeah, because, like, she needs that support.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could find her there with her brothers and her husband, whether he's alive or dead, still, with his coffin, it would be good.
Yeah. I think so too. Especially if... I mean, it's funny. I will definitely, like, resurrect Connor just because I love Astarian's reaction to it. But I think if she would take her husband's coffin back to her home there, and her brothers would be there, and they would have a proper burial, and then she would birth her baby, that would be so cute. And then seeing her, I think
they would have, like, 3 people to raise the kid, because that would be 2 uncles and the mother.
Yeah, and I think, like, mental health wise, she could actually be happy that way.
Yeah.
If she has her like undead husband with her, I don't think she could, like, move on from, ooh, he died, right? He's still there, and that's really unhealthy for her. But again, Astarian Simpage goes first.
And then it's also really hard to bring an undead person back to life as well. So that's another layer.
Even into the city might be a problem. Being like, let me just... he belongs to me. Yeah, he looks a little bit... he stings a bit, but, I have a feeling getting through the gates might be interesting like that.
We're gonna have to pay a fee.
Yeah. This is my undead husband. Please let him pass. It would be funny if they were like, yeah, but he kind of doesn't... He isn't a person anymore, so he would be a pet, so he's bigger than a... Was it peacock?
Peacock.
Yeah, he's bigger than a peacock, so he has to stay outside.
Oh, man. But we also don't know, like, where in Baldur's Gate she lives. Like, she doesn't seem like she's really rich, so she might be in part of the outer city anyways.
Yeah. I mean, her brothers looked more like farmers or something like that.
Yeah. So, like, it would make sense that they might be outside.
Yeah. Her dress looked a bit fancy, but could also just be like well, I don't want to say peasants, but like farmers woman's dress, and
could be
she just doesn't do the work, or they're more like a bit more rich farmers, right?
Could be. Yeah.
That would make sense. Yeah. So
she would be the landowners, and maybe the brothers just also work the land.
Yeah, they kind of look like. I mean, they also had the pitchforks and stuff. It would make sense.
Yeah.
And didn't you say they're kind of just out of town?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like they were at a place that was just outside of Baldur's Gate.
Okay, yeah, then probably they're kind of in like the outer city, I guess. Yeah, but that's it for me. I didn't see much. We saw a lot of the city, amazing views, so I would suggest everybody watch it. But it was more of a way that they described how they made the city and what was important for them, especially like making everything look rich and alive and bustling and make it feel
and
real.
You can fly through it.
Yeah, that it's seamless. And Sven even said like he was most afraid of this part, which I mean we can all, I think, empathize with that. Yeah, but now I love that it's now the thing they're most proud of, and that says a lot because they are the makers of Astarion, so you know. As a lot of people just played as the Astarion romance game, you know. Dating simulator.
Yeah.
But I think we're all looking forward getting into the city. So yeah, definitely go watch that. I mean, you can see it here as well. But
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait. But I think that was all the trailers, right?
Yep.
Because we're already in 2 hours. And now we're gonna go and talk about the murder mystery now, which might take a while. So lean back, get a snack, pause the video, you know, get yourself some water, stretch, and
go
then
to the bathroom.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a person that when I listen to podcasts, I do stuff. But if you're somebody who likes to sit down and really concentrate on a podcast and watch it, then please go stretch, because buckle up, we might have 2 more hours to go now, or even longer. I don't know. I hope it's 2 hours or what.
You haven't really been following the murder mystery so much yet.
Yeah, so I have I started, I think, at the 3rd day or 2nd, I don't know, I think it was the 3rd day that I started reading everything and getting into it, and I voted. It was the day before we went to that little aisle, right, with the coin purse, and then I didn't really have much time. I had some stuff going on health wise, and you know, and today I tried to read into everything again, and yeah, there's a lot that happened, which is interesting.
There is a lot.
And I think if you don't know what's going on, Larian has, well, I said a little bit about that in the beginning of the episode, but again, it's a free RPG browser source game. And the community is collectively working on a murder mystery, and we are trying to figure out who killed the victim on day one that this whole thing started. We will talk about it in a second, what happened and everything. But this is our background of Tav. And it is, I think, set, was it 15 years? 14?
It's 15 years
Okay.
before Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm just spitballing that it's default Tav, like not whatever we decide to make Tav, just the base whatever they have.
Yeah.
So like when you start the game, just straight up, you appear to be a female elf cleric, just whatever, regular elf, but then it's like it shows male, but then it shows that you're a female. It's whatever. But it could be that Tav or a different Tav. We don't know.
That makes sense. I'm really interested if that default Tav stays the same. Well, maybe a different haircut or something like that. That would make sense. But if we are actually that Tav, right? Or if something changes or something like that.
Like, if we were that Tav, then 15 years doesn't mean anything to us because we're an elf.
Yeah. That does make sense. But we are some sort of detective.
Yes.
Trying to figure out what happened. In Baldurs Gate. There was a murder in Baldurs Gate, and this whole browser source game is called, let me see, Blood in Baldur's Gate.
Yes. A murder most foul, might I add.
And we are currently, well, for me, it is still the 28th of June while recording. In 6 minutes, it's gonna be the 29th. But we are at the time and game, 29 time and game? Yeah.
It is the 29th day in the summer of Kithorn.
Yeah. So again, I am doing my best trying to get this episode up as quickly as possible. But when you're watching it, there might be, well, not might be, there is more information out, and I'm gonna link to you as well the game, and you can participate and you can vote, and we have to figure out who is the murderer, or, you know, this murder mystery together as a community. So that's a lot of fun.
And the fun thing is it leads up to the last panel from hell.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we're talking about it now. And in the next episode, we're going to talk about the panel from hell, and we're going to talk about the murder mystery and what came out of it. But we thought, while it's going on, maybe you don't know about it. Because I think they posted about it on Twitter. Some people have posted YouTube videos about it. I don't know, maybe you missed it. I only saw it because I saw the video from Redbeard Flynn about it, which was really cool. But yeah, it is a really cool game. It is text-based, and there have been some questionable decisions by the community, let's say that, but I think we're doing good. And we have a lot more days to go, so you can definitely still jump in. There might be about 1, 2 to 3 days maybe. I will really try my best to get this episode up, because this is the June episode and we're almost in July again. So yes. But also because I want this to be as close to the murder mystery as possible for you guys to just jump in, and you know, with the information we can give you right now, that it's kind of fresh. So yeah, let's jump in. So do you want to start, Mizu? I know you're really passionate about it. Or should we just talk about first what happened?
I'll say we start with what sort of began everything.
Okay.
Which was on the 19th of the month. A elf bard was discovered on a fountain, and he had a giant anchor just wedged inside of his chest. And the cobblestones around him were just like busted up. So whoever killed him was really strong. And from that, we've also found that his coin purse was there, so money was not a motivator for the murder. At this point, we don't know what the motivation is, but we know that money was not it.
Yeah. And I mean, we also have the copper pieces in the fountain. So, I mean, if money would have been, they would have taken everything. Also the wishes in the well, it was everything. But it was still there.
Yeah.
Which, one thing I find interesting is the anchor here.
Yeah, that's really heavy.
It is, but what I also find interesting is the... Well, we can talk about that maybe a little later when we find out a bit more about other murders, because this is not the only murder that has occurred.
That was just the most recent murder at the time.
Yeah, that was on day 1.
Correct.
I also need to see where the next... I think after that happened,
we were given a couple of clues. One, that there was a bloody footprint that appeared to be going towards the fisherman's wharf. And the other clue was that there appeared to be a man over towards the south of the killing area who was like vomiting up against the side of a wall and may have seen or heard what happened.
Yeah, which makes sense because the anchor was forced with like such brutal force into that elf's torso that I guess that was pretty disgusting to witness.
Yeah, I would have to imagine it was.
But the community decided that we do not care for that vomiting person who might have seen things.
We can always go back and forth.
Yeah.
So they decided that they were going to follow the bloody footprint first.
Yeah.
And they decided to go to the wharf.
On the 21st. Where we met Drusilla.
Who we apparently have done a job for in the past prior.
Yeah, and they seem to be an alchemist. And they were living on a sort of houseboat.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going over my notes. While talking here.
I just have the game pulled up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've tried to really get like the bullet points, but if I'm just reading it, it's gonna be so so mechanical, I think. Oh yeah, we see that there's a steaming kettle and there is an urn, which apparently contains the remains of Drusilla's deceased sister.
Yes.
And Drusilla mentions the flaming fists to us, that they will arrive soon to clear onlookers and take the body to the morgue, which makes sense. And she is giving us tea, and she's also putting a cup of tea in front of the urn of her sister.
Yeah.
And telling us that we could go to the Blushing Mermaid, which is a local alehouse in the Heap side of Baldurs Gate. We also managed to get a potion of invisibility from her to aid with our investigation. And then we heard a loud voice call thief, and we see a hooded figure run down an alley towards Canary Lane, and it was near the scene of the murder, which honestly, I think we all know what happened. There was a coin purse, the flaming fist weren't there, that whole scenery wasn't guarded at all.
Correct.
I thought about it myself. I was like, can I take this? Because I saw we had an inventory. I was like, can I take that money? But we couldn't.
No, the thing that strikes me the most about this is, like, every time we do something, it's like once a day. It's like the game starts on the 19th, and we make our vote on the 20th, and then we go to the wharf on the 21st. So this is like days in game. Like it's a long time. To me, everything is happening in hours, but in game time, it's happening in days.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it seems like it should be hours. Maybe.
Right?
Maybe it. Oh.
But like right now, it's the 29th of the month, and it started out at the 19th of the month. But like, who takes 10 days to like ask a question?
True.
If the flaming fish were supposed to be there to remove the body, they should have probably done it on the 20th, right? They shouldn't have done it like 3 or 4 days later.
Yeah, I think maybe it's actual hours, but
I think it should be hours.
Yeah.
But for the plot of the game, it's days.
Makes sense. Yeah, maybe so people can keep up with it, and it feels more real, like it's day-to-day basis kind of.
Yeah, because like the 21st is when we hear that there's a thief, and the first time that we like chase after the thief, it's the 22nd, so it's the next day that we're chasing the thief.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah,
Timeline.
true.
So it has to be hours being played out as days.
I agree with you. I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh yeah, it's that day, but very true. But yeah, what we had two things happen on the 22nd of Kython, on the 22nd day. One is, of course, we followed that thief in the Canary Lane, which is a dimly lit covered passageway. And we see a young street urchin sprints away from the crime scene carrying a blood coin pouch with elven engraving, which of course is the coin purse of the elf that was murdered.
Correct.
And in that dark corridor, we bump into a strange man wearing a top hat. And on that...
There's a few animal bones on it.
Yeah, like an animal skeleton on the head. And even though we run into him, we still continue and try to get the thief. And we see like a smaller smear of blood on a nearby fence post, which we indicate as like that's where the thief fled to. And we proceed west down the street, and we spot a figure attempting to open a sewer gate. And the street urchin says to us, like, with a voice that sounds like a young adolescent, and tries to justify his actions as a means to survive, and mentioned guild territory. And
Yes.
then they disappear down a sewer entrance marked with an etching of a skull of the city's coat of arms.
Yes. So that would be like the Zentrum and stuff like that. They were in the underground part of the city.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, also the thief. Yeah. And
Now the man that we run into, initially my thought was he looked kind of like the voodoo guy from The Princess and the Frog.
yes, I just had that. By reading that, I was like, "Oh, I have friends from the other side."
Yeah.
Uh, I want to talk to him now, please. Give me some tarot cards, sir. But yeah, we didn't really find anything. The only thing was, again, we were being told that the Blushing Mermaid would be good to go there because they are known for guild activity.
Activity hotspot, yeah.
Yeah, and well, we could have went there immediately, but I mean, okay. Community, if you want to. And then the second thing that happened on the 22nd was that the body was removed from the scene, and the Flaming Fist soldiers were now securing the area.
Yes.
And there's a guard with a tattoo of a red beret around his wrist, which looks similar to Ilmanta's symbol, and he blocks the path, and tells us to move along. And they're kind of rough about it.
Yeah,
And
they're a little bit dicks. They're sort of like what America sees police officers as right now.
yeah, they're not really nice.
They're
Not
dicks.
at all.
They're
And
dicks.
that person tells us, the guard with the tattoo, that they moved the corpse themselves to the morgue.
They personally took it to the morgue.
Yeah, and we notice that they have bloodstains on their boots and on the uniform. Yeah.
And if they carried the body there, it makes sense. They'd be covered in blood.
Yeah, exactly. And then we also, I guess, think to ourselves that we could maybe go to the Shrine of the Suffering from Ilmanter in the Heap side to get more information about that specific guard.
Correct.
But yeah, that's all that happened on the... Well, it's... I wouldn't say it's a lot that happened on the 22nd. It's we kind of gained no information other than, okay, there's a guild and bam, there's a dick Flaming Fist guards. And on the 23rd, we went to the Blushing Mermaid. Like, the community voted on going to the Blushing Mermaid.
Mermaid Tavern and Inn.
Which is known for gossip and illicit business. Yeah, it has a reputation of criminal activity, but it is tolerated by the Flaming Fists. So, I think we also talked about it in the Baldurs Gate 3, the Baldurs Gate 3 episode. Yeah, this is the Baldurs Gate 3 podcast, brain. It's late, okay? In the episode where we talked about the cities and everything about the Sword Coast, I can't talk, I swear. And about the city, and we talked about how even though there's like the Flaming Fist in the city, there are a few temples also for evil aligned deities and everything is kind of accepted and tolerated as long as it's like not going outside of that bubble, or there's not too many sacrifices or stuff like that.
In the trailer that we were talking about earlier, for Baldur's Gate, one of the temples that you see is to Umi the Bitch Queen.
Oh, I love that. That name is beautiful.
Who is an evil aligned goddess that they pray to keep them safe at sea.
Is that also the one we find a book of?
Not certain, but in the video, it's the one who kind of looks like Ursula from The Little Mermaid, who's got like the eels and the tentacles and stuff.
Okay, I need to look that up, but I think in the beginning, right at the beach, you can find a book at like a little fisher thing.
There is a book that has like the ode to the Bitch Queen, yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, what the hell is that name? But yeah, that sounded familiar.
Yeah. Should be like one of the fishermen that has it that's dead on the way up to the tomb of Jurgle.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are being told that there's a life-size wooden mermaid that hangs in the entryway, which makes sense for that, for that tavern. Very tavern-like. And inside the tavern, it's like dimly lit rooms and maze-like layouts, and a patron mentions rumors about a butcher on Market Street selling monster meat with a tiefling supplier. And a rosy-cheeked gnome, whose name is Zilbar Whistlepocket, who is apparently a reporter from the Baldurs Gate mouth, or Baldur's Mouth, approaches us and identifies us as a fellow investigator. And then they mention the previous murder at Inside Park and Silver Crescent Beach, and indicates a lack of connection between the cases. And
at least what they found.
Yeah, at least what they think. And they encourages us to share any significant leads, and wants to collaborate with us on the story to gain recognition. But I don't
we don't have enough information at that point to give to him.
Yeah, and they seem kind of shady.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's like, oh, tell me everything you know, and then let's collaborate, but I will take the story from you.
A little bit, yeah.
And then we are talking with the bartender about the individuals selling stolen goods. And that leads to a dismissal and a mention of a street urchin named Magpie, which that name sounds familiar to me. And the bartender suggests that Magpie, who stole from a corpse, is aspiring to join the guild, and downplays their involvement in the murders, which probably Magpie was that young urchin that we found. Yeah, that we saw.
Magpie was the one who snatched the purse and ran away.
Yeah. And that's what happened on the 23rd. Then we have two things, I think, that happened on the 24th, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure now where we went or what the community voted on.
From that point, the community headed back to Canary's Lane to try to find out more about Magpie, and we were then approached by Magpie on that day, and Magpie handed us a letter, and Magpie tells us that we've caught the attention of the person that we're looking for, and that they had a message to pass on to us, and that was the letter that he handed to us.
Oh yeah, on Lockley Street, right?
That's where we read the letter, but that's not where we obtain the letter.
Oh, okay.
We obtain the letter back on Canary's Lane.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't... that part I didn't... I wasn't able to see.
The youth hands over a sealed letter, and with that, he slips down the alley.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. We returned home. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So we live on Lockley Street.
Yeah, but the same day that we received the letter, we also observed that there was some sort of magic that was watching us, but we couldn't figure out what school or what exact spell it was.
Okay.
It says, while you observed the street urchin, you perceived something that wasn't quite right. You had a sense for magic being used, but you couldn't pinpoint what school or what exact spell. So after the letter was handed to you, somebody was watching. So they wanted to make sure that you got the letter.
Interesting. Which I also find interesting is that it's not only our backstory, but now we know we have a house or a home to go back to in Baldurs Gate.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially, yeah. On Lockley Street. That could be cool. Imagine.
Yeah, you're going to take your romance partner there. No question.
My god, yes, please. Let me see. I need to see again where Lockley Street is. Lockley Street there. It's
not too far away from the wharf or from a couple other places.
Yeah. Is it in the it's in the lower city, right?
It is in the lower city. Everything's taking place in the lower city.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If you were to look at the wharf, it would just be a couple blocks back from the wharf.
Mm-hmm. And where the murder happened.
A couple extra blocks from there.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Also because now we literally have a map of that, right?
Yes.
We exactly know which house it is as well, which is interesting. And I think intentional of Larian. Maybe.
And you see a picture of what it looks like from the outside. So we potentially could recognize it just walking by in the street.
Oh yeah, very true. And I guess Tav would say something, right? It would be like, oh damn, that's my house.
Yeah. Because like way early on when you first run into Astarion, you can tell him that you are a Baldarian, or you can just tell him your story. And I figure potentially this is that story that you tell him. That you were a detective at one point in Baldur's Gate and that you were trying to like solve different cases.
Oh my, and probably instead of like having like a blank there, it would probably fill that out. Because I mean, I get that you want to have like your own backstory for your character. I mean, I don't know if you have the option for, oh, I'm also a Baldurian for every race and everything like that, but...
That I've seen so far, yes.
Okay. But it makes a lot of sense, especially with our theory here of we needed a way out, that Tav needs some sort of backstory that fits into that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know, we are actually being put into prison because you caused all of this. I don't know. Stuff like that.
I mean, we're not the killer.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know, maybe there's a plot twist, or it leads up to, well, yes, the
I do have a plot twist in mind, but I doubt it's something that they would do.
Do you want to share that at the end, or do you want to share that now?
I mean, I can.
Okay, I'm interested.
If things go a certain way, when you meet certain people in early access, Gale will say that he saw you in like a crucible's worth of your own blood. Astarion will say that he saw you strutting around the ship like you owned it. What if you've been there for a long time?
Oh shit.
Like, there's no saying how long a person has to be a thrall or how long somebody has to be captured for. When you share your memories with Astarion, he sees that you were captured. He didn't see when you were captured. That information is not ever given.
True, and if
What
we are...
if something happens here and we've been gone for 15 years? We don't know.
Damn.
Big plot twist if that ever happened.
Then, yeah. I mean, also, we are next to Githyanki. Like, they didn't just abduct Lizelle in that city that we see where they are stealing people. And maybe they had us in these little incubators, right? Preparing our bodies, I don't know, for like the shock. Or I don't know, something. And having these tadpoles, right?
Yeah. I mean, it takes 10 years for a tadpole to mature. And some people can be thralls for who knows how long, just ages. Who knows, like, if people can get snapped out of it right before they get implanted or something. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting, I gotta say. Very interesting theory.
Wild theory. Hoping that that is something that happens, because that would be really cool.
It would
But we'll
be.
see.
Would also make maybe sense that we kind of don't remember really who or what we are.
Could be fun.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Let me see. Anything else on that?
But
Well,
next we go to home.
Well, we still have the talisman that we found on the front door from
Well, that's
Drusilla.
in our house. That's in our house. And that is mentioned briefly on the second day. I guess the third day, technically. When we go to talk to her. We did some sort of a job for Drusilla in the past, and as part of the payment, she gave us one of these talismans.
Yeah.
And so now Tav has it up in their house. And they just like touch it absentmindedly whenever they go in.
Interesting. I wonder if it's actually hanging in the house when we go there. That would really be cool.
It could be. But that's the thing, like, we don't know if the talisman might come into play in the next few days. We don't know.
Probably. Because it is mentioned and then we touch it absentmindedly. I guess the thing is we are also... Well, we're gonna hear it... I don't know when, pretty late. But there is some sort of paranormal activity mentioned. And
yeah, in a few days.
Yeah. And I'm just with the talisman because Drusilla is also kind of...
Well, there's also different kinds of talismans too.
Yeah, but it's like she sparks me as somebody who's into...
Like voodoo?
Not really voodoo, but she is kind of spiritual, or like the fact that she still offers a cup of tea to her deceased sister.
Yeah.
And
that can still fall under voodoo.
Yeah, definitely. It was just what with the talisman, which if she did something with that, or I have no idea, and we touch it, you know?
I like to think that whenever Tav touches it, it activates.
Yeah.
And then it'll just like be once every day sort of a thing. And just, they absentmindedly touch it every single time they go back home, then they're protected and they don't know it.
Yeah. Exactly. Something like that. But yeah, I think that was it for the Lockley Street.
Well, there's the letter. You actually open the letter that you got from Magpie the day before,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can read it. And there's some pretty interesting stuff in this letter. I will read the letter to you if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So it says, "Poor dear detective, I see you take great interest in the pursuit of my precious master. Of course your fascination is to be commended. Who among us does not yearn for a glimpse of that noxious angel, that most vulgar of fiends? I too would be pained if I knew not my master's fate. It is a pity that your investigation has yielded such disappointing results. Perhaps some motivation is what your numbed brain matter craves. A game to invigorate your spirits and inspire your investigative urges. And so, it is rules are set as follows. You have 1 10-day to ascertain the identity of my master. Fail, and you shall be rewarded greatly, with a death far more thrilling than your odious day job. Naturally, this game is compulsory, and you are already playing like whether you like it or not. Tick-tock, detective. With heartfelt wishes and pestilence upon your family." And then they sign it, Scileritus Fell.
Yeah.
And so I decided to be cheeky, and I ran that name through an anagram machine.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of the words that it spit out from Scileritus Fell were Lifecaster and Celestials.
Oh. Oh yeah, Celestials. That makes sense. Celestial eel.
But when
Maybe
they talk about
a phone celestial fell.
when they talk about the noxious angel, most vulgar of fiends, my mind immediately went to Zariel.
Oh.
Because, like, she was an angel who then became a fiend in order to fight in the blood war in the Hells.
Uh-huh.
So that's what my initial thought is. But talking to a couple people online, they seem to think, like, no, it can't be Zariel because she's not part of anything until such and such a date. But it's like, this is a game from Larian as lead up to Baldur's Gate 3. They could be doing their own thing with her. Like, she's a separate entity from whatever else is going on in those instances. It could be her.
Or
It could be somebody.
or have more cold people, right? We have like culty-ish Zariel followers in Baldur's Gate 3 already who are trying to kill and do things.
Correct.
Just here, and she could literally just send them off, or I don't know, reach them in some way, like Raphael does with us. And
like I don't see why she couldn't be it, but like maybe
yeah, I mean she's the master, right?
It could be somebody else. So then I was thinking maybe I should take a look at some of the other gods and see like if one of their other nicknames is something like Noxious Angel or Most Vulgar of Fiends, and maybe like take a look at that angle to see if there's someone specific that way.
Mm-hmm.
But with Lifecasters and Celestials being like one of the things that pops out from the anagram, that makes me think maybe the killer could also be, say, a cleric or something.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe. When did that stuff happen with Selûne, where Selûne wasn't actually Selûne, but it was Shar? Was that a while ago?
That was during the time of Troubles and the Sundering.
Mm-hmm.
That was the second Sundering, which took place a little ways after this.
Oh, okay. So it wouldn't be okay. Wouldn't
Because
really
this
be
stuff
bad.
takes place in 1477. I think it takes place in 1485. So we're just a few years off from that.
Okay. So I guess that wouldn't. Okay. Well, I would maybe think it could be a Celestial, and it could be Zariel. Why not? And she is evil, and she definitely could send
she's
some.
technically not evil.
I don't know why she would do it, but what her motivation would be.
Well, it might not be like her. It could be somebody just killing in her name.
Oh yeah.
Because like one of the things is for martyrdom, I think. It could just be like martyrs for her. Or maybe they're trying to find people to send to her in the blood war, you know?
Zariel?
Sending their souls to hell for Zariel in the blood war.
Zariel couldn't be the third chosen, right?
No.
Okay.
Because Baldur's Gate takes place just after the incidents of descent into Avernus.
Wait, when did that whole thing... Ooh. When did that whole thing happen? I'm so lost with all the years, but when they tried to get Ball back. To resurrect Ball. Because we... You know, all the murders, and then we have the Dead 3?
Well, the first one would be whenever the first Baldur's Gate game came out. So let me just see what the year was.
Oh, okay. I wanted to just Google it, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what I'm doing. Okay.
I found it
so
too.
It looks like things start in 1281 DR, so a couple hundred years earlier.
Okay. So for me, I found, but that can 100% be wrong because I just asked ChatGPT.
It says that in the middle of the summer of 1368, supposedly Ball sired all of his children during the time of troubles. And then the game is set to take place 9 or 10 years afterwards. So it starts technically in 1368.
Yeah, I have, same, 1368 here. And it continues to like 1372. That's what I have here. So that is not the time frame here. That these murders might have something to do with the Dead 3. Well, they maybe could if
we could.
Yeah, but we don't really. Well, it was a really brutal suffering death. One of them. But let's continue maybe and then talk about this maybe later when we have all the information. So I think what happened then was that we went to Blade and Stars, right?
No.
Okay.
After we got the letter and we opened it and we had that happen, we went to the hospital.
Oh, okay.
So that's the morgue. We went to the morgue.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to sneak into the morgue. And we take a look around, and we can't like really find the body that we're looking for. But we do find a token that has the spell Speak with Dead on it. And so we just pocket that, and we continue looking around for papers and whatnot. We find a couple of bodies, and we find some information about like bits and pieces of them missing. And eventually we come across a tarped over body, and we pull back the sheet on it, and we do find the body of the man who was killed. And he appears to be missing his eyes and a couple of his organs. And it had looked like the mortician hadn't yet had a chance to write up any informational sheets on them because they were taking a... And when we leave the hospital, we can see the mortician outside talking to like the body collector. And one of the things that Tav thinks about is like maybe the elf mortician, or not the elf mortician. The mortician could have killed the elf before going to their job as the mortician. So they're trying to think like, well, maybe the mortician is the killer. That's something, maybe. And then you remember that there are 2 other killings. And one of them is at the beach. And the other one is at the Insight Park. And you're thinking about going to the Cliffside Cemetery to try and find the body of the second kill that happened, which happened 10 days prior to the elf being killed. And that was a dragonborn who had washed up on the beach.
Yeah. I found it, and it was on the 24th as well. So, again, there was actually 2 things, but I copied the wrong thing. So yeah, there were 2 things happening on the 24th. Which is very interesting to hear that there was actually a second death.
There were 3 deaths. When we were talking to some of the people, we found out, I think from Whistleblower, the first death happened at Insight Park, and that was 20 days ago.
Oh.
Then there was the killing at the beach of the Dragonborn, which was 10 days ago. And then there was the elf who died the day before.
Yeah, okay.
So at that point, we've got murders that are taking place 10 days apart.
Oh. Well, now it would be interesting if the next murder... Well, they said if we don't find, we have 1 day to find...
No, we have one 10 day.
Oh, we have... Oh, okay.
So
okay.
that's another 10 days.
Interesting.
And if you look at it again in terms of hours, then that means that in the next 10 days, we would be killed. So we would be the 4th.
You think so? That it would be us?
Well, like if we're looking at it in hours instead of like physical days like they have it.
Yeah.
The killer is telling us straight to our face in that letter, if you don't figure this out in 10 days, I'm going to kill you next.
Oh, I thought they just would kill somebody else.
And that would be 10 days from the murder of the elf, which would be part of the 10-day pattern.
Yeah.
So already, the killer has an MO. They kill once every 10 days.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see if there's like some sort of... I mean, we found one pattern, but...
Yeah.
If there's also a pattern in like where it happened. Like,
Well, there doesn't appear to be a pattern where it's happened, except maybe that most of the killings appear to be over in the sort of bottom southeast part of the city.
yeah, kind of near water.
Yeah, because like we've got the killing over at the pier, then we have a killing that happened and the body washed up on a beach, and then over Insight Park. Insight Park is also over by the water.
Mm-hmm.
All of these killings seem to be in the southeast of the city.
Yeah.
And in that area in the southeast also happens to be the Tumbledown, which is like the big cemetery of the city, and also where Cazador is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Huh.
Which means during this particular time, he's also sending people out to hunt food for him.
Do we know? Oh, come on, Brett. It's too late. I lost my sentence. No, that was so good. No, do we know when did Astarion say when he got his scar?
He didn't say specifically.
Okay, because if we have, I mean, Zariel isn't a devil. So I don't think there could actually be a devil's pact with Zariel.
No.
Doubtful. I'm just thinking if maybe there's like some sort of pattern that leads back to Cazador, but also has like the celestial aspect.
I don't think that Cazador is actually involved. It's just that it's very close to that part of town.
Yeah, I was just interested if I mean, then they would kill people differently if they would kill them.
They would
not like that. Also,
they
like
wouldn't have blood.
Yeah, and the way they were killed doesn't make sense. But I thought maybe they need like deaths, like sacrifices of like actual deaths to maybe get like a sacrifice or like that devil contract thing going. I don't know.
That seems more like a ritual of some sort.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Just like you have to kill 5 people. I don't know.
He didn't seem to need that. All he needed was a razor and their backs. That's all he needed.
Yeah. True.
But yeah, no, all of these killings so far have been very close to water.
Yeah. But then we went to the Blade and Stars, right? Or am I wrong?
Let's take a look. Let me take a look. No, yeah. I think we went to the beach.
Silver Crescent Beach? Oh, yeah, could be. Yeah, 27. Okay, that's on the same day, yeah. Okay.
So then we go to the beach, and we find a tarp. And the tarp has an insignia on it for the cliffside cemeteries. And that's over down in the Tumbledown. So that's just down the hill from where the hospital is. And in Cazador's part of town.
Mm-hmm.
So then that place gets unlocked. And that's when we go there next. And while we're there...
But we...
Yeah. We go from the beach on the 27th. And then we go over...
We have the Blade and Stars that was also on the 27th. Yeah.
Okay. At some point we also go over to the Blade and Stars then. And that's when we find another dead body. But this one doesn't fit the killer's MO. I think this one was killed by somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
This one appears to be the butcher that we heard about from the Blushing Mermaid Tavern. The one
yeah.
who was selling monster meat. I think he was probably killed for that.
Probably. He is hanging from a meat hook. He's...
No, he's hanging from a lamp. He's hanging from a lamp
beneath
with butcher string.
Okay, I need to reread that because I have written down the middle-aged half-orc victim had his throat slit clearly and is tied by the feet with butcher's twine hanging from a meat hook. And underneath a dimly lit lamp.
It's also off of the lamp, yeah. Like, why a meat hook would be in an alley is very questionable.
Yeah. And he's like killed like a
pig.
Yeah. Probably killed someone who he shouldn't have killed. And somebody was pissed.
This is where the story takes a bit of a turn.
Mm-hmm.
So we find out at the Blushing Mermaid that the tiefling is probably selling him like monster parts. But then when we go to the hospital, we find out that there are other body parts missing from some of the people there. So then the inference then becomes that they're selling like humanoid body parts to the butcher, and the butcher is making like meat pies and stuff out of people instead of monsters, and that's why he was killed.
Ugh. Yeah.
Because somebody figured out, hey, there's people in my food. I don't like that. Yeah.
That reminds me of Divinity Original Sin 2, where there's this elf who cooks people.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. So very Larian here.
I mean, yeah. But yeah, you talk to the lady and she says, like, he's been providing food and stuff here since he took over from the previous person who owned the place. And, like, they were freaked out that they were killed the way that they were, and they were the ones who found him and everything. And now the only person left at the butcher shop is his apprentice. And from the picture of the butcher shop, if you go to that location, you will see a woman in an apron.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the one running the shop now, I imagine.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm trying to
And she says the person who would supply meat to the butcher, the tiefling, is Selwyn Leventide, and he could be found back at the Blushing Mermaid. So then we head back over to the Blushing Mermaid to find him. And you do find him there. And the thing that he tells us is, like, at first he had no idea that he was like selling people, because like he would never try to sell people to a butcher. But some person came up to him when he was like at his lowest and started whispering into his ear that he could like make all their dreams come true and stuff. And the tiefling would source this meat he was getting from a Flaming Fist agent who looked like he had a symbol of Ilmater.
yeah.
And then it goes back to that guy. It's like, oh, he had blood on his outfit from carrying the body. Oh, he's been taking body parts from the people he's carrying to the morgue, giving it to the tiefling who sold it to the butcher to put into food, and then he got killed over it. So it's like, why would he do that?
So maybe the guard might also get killed. Well, maybe.
I don't know if the guard will get killed yet, but he's definitely involved with the trafficking of body parts
Yeah.
being put into normal people's food.
I mean, that could also be why the organs and the eyes are missing.
Yes.
Because that's
what
not...
I thought about that.
Yeah, that's not obviously human, right?
No. It's like, it's the elves. The elves' organs and eyeballs. But if they told you that it was like from a monster and you couldn't tell the difference...
Yeah.
What do you do?
Exactly. Yeah, sorry, I said humanoid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And
it looked like it wasn't the only body that had bits and pieces missing. So, like, potentially, this flaming fist guard that we ran into earlier, who's been taking the bodies to the morgue, has also been, like, dealing body parts under the table to the tiefling, and then tiefling to the butcher to everybody else, and that ended up getting the butcher killed. So now, we have to figure out what's the deal with this dude, what's the deal with this flaming fist guy, because, like, he's definitely not on the level, clearly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but to this day, we have not yet been to the shrine of Ilmanter.
Not yet. Instead, we decided to go down into, like, the cliffside area. And we started with the Misty Court. And while we were at the Misty Court, we found a couple of dwarves. And they're just, like, hammering away at their, like, little place of business until we talked to them. With the brother and sister pair.
I think before we went to the Misty Court, I still have the Silver Crescent Beach on the...
We went there first.
27th.
We went there first.
Oh, that's why... Oh, okay. So, okay. That's just my... Okay, yeah, that's just my chaotic notes. Okay, sorry.
The tarp with the crest on it, which was for the cliffside.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. With the 10.
And then eventually we made ourselves over there. Yeah. Okay. And they had a whole bunch of the tarps over at the Misty Court. And they were talking about the body that was found on the Crescent Beach. And they told you that it was moved over to the Cliffside Cemetery, which was just a little south from where their current location was. And that we had to go and talk to the gravekeeper there, who is named Grom Skullsmash. Grom Skullsmash. And it was a lady. And the brother dwarf said that he figured it might be ghosts, because he figured that there were, like, ghosts running around in the area.
Mm-hmm. And hearing stuff, right?
Yeah, and hearing stuff. And the sister's, like, rolling her eyes at him and saying he thinks that the River Veins entrance is a haunted location. So that's another location that we've been given. And she wagers that it's just some young folk who are just, like, being buttholes and just doing it for a laugh. And we look at the tarp, and we see the cliffside cemetery thing on it again, and we go off at that point down to the cliffside cemetery the next day. And this is where we meet with Grom, and she turns out to be a Githyanki.
Which I thought was really weird.
I was surprised by that. That's when I was, like, making eyes in the chat and saying some interesting information has popped up. It's like, a Githyanki for the city in Baldur. Okay, yeah, no, they're a melting pot there, aren't they? Yeah. Okay.
Apparently, they already know Githyanki, so Lizelle will not be that weird.
Yeah, she'll be perfectly fine there. They'll probably wonder if she's an apprentice or something, yeah?
Yeah.
But we go there, and we're over by a statue of Baldurin, who the city of Baldurs Gate is named after. And we see like a little bit of tarp from where they appear to be repairing some of the statue. And we find a bloodied dagger. And we start looking at it and thinking, maybe this is what killed the Dragonborn. Well, we should probably check up on that. So you go and you talk to Grom, and she says that you could probably go to Trident Lane. And Trident Lane is all the way back over on the other side of the city, which is over by the beach. And she tells us that they can probably tell you either who made the dagger based on like its construction, or who might have owned the dagger. So that is one of the places that we can currently go and check out. You have to vote on that right now.
Which I have to say that I'm guilty of voting for Trident Lane. Which, what I think is interesting as well, it looks like they're also kind of robotic. There's like this...
there's a construct that works there too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And while you're talking to Grom, she takes you out to the Dragonborn, and you like dig up the Dragonborn's grave. And at this point, I noticed that all of the murders so far have been men. Like every single murder so far has been men. We don't know about the person at Insight Park just yet because we haven't been there and haven't gleaned any information. So I can only make a theory so far that all of the kills are men and only men.
Which would be interesting to know with Tav, if our default Tav is a cleric,
man or a woman,
female elf, if that is default Tav. For now, we don't know.
Although, if you look at it, though you are a woman, it does have the male symbol clicked.
Yeah.
So you open the grave of the Dragonborn, and you use the coin on him, and you ask him a few questions.
Yeah, the coin of Speak with Dead, right?
The coin of Speak with Dead that you got at the hospital. Most of it is useless, worthless, except for they tell you that they died over at the River Veins entrance, which was briefly mentioned before by the two dwarf twins. That, like, the one thought it was haunted, and the other one thought it was just kids being kids and just horsing around. And the other one that was answered was, they did not know their killer. They were struck in the back of the head. And they had never seen the dagger before. So we know it wasn't theirs. So it was most likely the murder weapon in this case.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
So now, in the current times, we go back to the Baldur's Mouth, because apparently that's where everybody decided to go. And we meet up again with the little gnome, Whistlepop.
But what I find interesting as well, but Grom jumps in. There's always 4 questions that you can ask with Speak with Dead. Here the same. 5?
There's 5.
Oh.
5.
I thought that was 4. Anyhow. But the last question Grom took from us by asking if we are done. And the corpse answers it.
Yeah.
So we lost our last question, which I thought kind of suspicious. Could be that they didn't know that or anything like that, but
I mean, I think they know. I think that the body answered, even though they were talking to us, the body didn't know any better.
yeah, if there's a question. So I have a feeling that was kind of done on purpose, but
yeah,
might not be, but nah.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have used the coin at that point, but whatever.
Yeah.
But now we've got this dagger, and we've got a couple places that we can vote on going. But in the meantime, the community went to the Baldur's Mouth. So that's the place where Zilbar Whistlepocket, the little gnome that we originally met at the Blushing Tavern, happens to be right now. So we go there, and
I didn't even write that down.
We start going through some of the information that we got, and he tells us that it seems to me that you've gotten enough evidence now that the next time you speak to the mortician at the Harborside Hospital, you can press her into a confession. And then, it's chilling to think there could be a greater scheme at play here. From what I've gathered, the victim at Insight Park was found entwined in a hedge, stabbed to death with a short blade. We already know that we've got this dagger, which is a short blade, so it could have killed multiple people as well.
Mm-hmm.
But then, why was it left at the statue of Baldur?
True. And
why did they decide to leave it behind at the graveyard?
And the thing is that I might be wrong, it's 1 a.m. here. But it's super far away from the dead of the, not super far, but far away from the actual dead from the Dragonborn, right?
Well, that's the thing. One of the questions, like what you asked, is where were you killed? They said at the River Vein entrance, but the River Vein entrance is closer to the Cliffside Cemetery. What happened was their body drifted down the Chianthar River until it reached the beach. Because the water flows from east to west into the ocean. So it was just carried along by the flow of the water to that beach.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So it was okay. So he was killed in the graveyard, apparently.
Well, he was killed in the southeast part of town.
Okay.
Where everybody else so far has been killed near the water.
Yeah. But I mean, if we now know that the short blade was used for multiple kills. Probably the handle for the hit on the head on the Dragonborn, and then one was stabbed to death.
Yeah.
Well, the elf might have been shoved into the anchor. If it's near the water, maybe.
Well, the elf was with their back against the fountain, with the cobblestones beneath them cracked, and the anchor wedged into their body.
Yeah.
Now, at the beginning of this whole thing, my thought on that matter was potentially it could be either a really strong person, maybe somebody enhanced with a magical item, or maybe a spellcaster, somebody could have cast telekinesis and hit them with the anchor, or maybe something like
doesn't
catapult.
The Gith? Don't they have like, or was it just the Mind Flayer powers where it's like you can pull statues towards yourself? I think it was the Mind Flayer powers that Giths get because they have the what was it? Psionic powers. So maybe, I mean, we have the Gith here. Maybe they use psionic powers to like shove that anchor in that elf.
Well, it seemed that it was done like with a lot of force. Yeah, which is why my initial thought was either telekinesis to like hit them with it, or like a catapult spell to just send it flying at them and it just pierced into their body.
But isn't psionic powers also force?
It can be. It's mind powers. But it also depends on like what kind of abilities they are. Is it a racial feat, or is it tied to a specific class? Like, we know that, say, Lizelle can make a mage hand with psionic abilities as opposed to magical ones.
Yeah.
And her mage hand does look a little bit different because of it. But like, is that particular ability racial, or is it a class feature?
True. Well, I find it interesting again that there's a Gith, and maybe if what was the name? Gam? I forgot again. Grom. Was the killer? Who would be the master? Why? Would that even make sense? I mean, right now, it kind of, the murder weapon was found there. But they sabotaged our speak with dead thing.
For the last question, yeah, they did.
Then who the hell has that kind of power to even do such a thing with the first victim, or like the third, but our victim that we found?
Well, that's the thing. Like, it could have been a magically enhanced person. Because, like, there are things like the belt of giant strength, which immediately increases your strength score so you can pick up heavier things. Somebody could have had a belt of giant strength, or a potion of giant strength, drank, and had a humongous strength and just wedged it right into their body.
True. Just very interesting. I wouldn't ignore that for now. That's something I will keep in mind.
Potentially the killer also scryed on us or used a different magical spell to view us. And though it wasn't mentioned earlier, our character apparently lost a lucky rabbit's foot when they were chasing Magpie.
Oh.
And it would make sense to me for it to be a scry spell if the killer picked up the lucky rabbit's foot and then used it to scry on us, because it's easier to scry on a target if you have something that belongs to them.
Interesting. Also, that is another indication of Tav being kind of spiritual, kind of, I forgot the name. When you kind of fear the paranormal, and then
well, yeah, because they've got a lucky rabbit's foot, they've got a talisman, they've got like a few other things around the house. But from the sounds of it, it may have been the man in the top hat that took the rabbit, because the man in the top hat is later referenced again by the tiefling in The Blushing Mermaid as being somebody who had whispered into his ear, saying that they could grant all of their heart's desires. And like, to me, that sounded more like a devil or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like Raphael.
Oh, yeah. And that would maybe get back to Zariel as well.
Right, because like if there were a devil and they were like, let's say it was a Cambion or something
Mm-hmm.
for Zariel, that would make a lot more sense, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It would. And I mean, we saw Raphael in like a human-esque
As a fancy noble.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So why not be able to look differently here as well? Makes sense, yeah. But I think that was where we are now, right?
Essentially, that is where we are now.
Okay. Well, at this time of the recording, we're still at the 29th. For me right now, it is... Well, for me, it is also the 29th of June right now. But we have like 17 hours left to vote while we are recording. And as of now, people voted... 25% voted to go to Inside Park. Or let me... Wait, I'm gonna reload because maybe... No, that's still the same. So 25% of people want to go to the Inside Park. 13% of people want to go to the Shrine of the Suffering. 5% of people want to go to the Market Street. 37% want to go to Trident Lane. And then 19% want to go to the Harbor's Master's office.
Okay. So yeah, it's more likely at the moment that we're gonna go to Trident Lane. But if it swings a little bit further, we may go to the Insight Park. Or we can go to the Trident Lanes and then Insight Park afterwards, because the park's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I think I mean, it could be very helpful. I did vote for the Trident Lane, but I think I missed out on the fact that in Inside Park, we found the third body, or we know about the third body.
We know about the third body,
Yeah.
but we haven't been there yet. But we were told by Grom that there is a druid down there who can talk to the trees. So if we run an errand for the druid, they might be able to speak with plants, and the plants can tell them what they saw.
Okay, that's really cool. And I remember I had like about like 2 minutes left to vote, so I was like, oh my god. And thought it would be great to kind of figure out who the dagger belongs to. Which could also be... The thing is, even if the dagger belongs to a certain person, it might still be stolen or something like that.
Correct. Because we don't know, like, when that particular weapon was made, who it belonged to. Maybe the person it belonged to was also a murder victim that we don't even know about yet.
Yeah. Exactly. I think this is really cool that they made this. This is first of all, it's again, I love the community aspect Larian is putting out for this early access. I think this is how you should handle early access games. This is amazing. And it is leading up to the last panel from Hell, which is also community related. And again, it's not you just play this game, you play this as a whole community. And you can talk about it with people, you can theorize, like, let us know what you think is happening, your theories, all of that. And then in the next episodes, or the July episode, we will go over this and what happened and what actually took place. And we will also talk
I don't
about...
actually think this is going to be done yet at that point, though, too. Because if you look at the bubbles down at the bottom that
Yeah.
like show you the progress of the days, we're currently on the 8th day, according to the bubbles. But because the weekends, they gave us 72 hours to vote instead of 24.
Oh, okay. So
Should
this is
technically
like...
be 10 days.
When is the Panel from Hell again?
It's supposed to be like sometime within the first week or two of July. But if you look at the bubbles on the bottom, there are like 35 of them. And if the weekends are taking 3 days each, then this game is going to be going on a lot longer than we think. And could potentially be up until sometime in August.
Interesting. Well, either way, we will cover it. Probably. Yeah, as we go along, we will cover it. And we will, definitely talk about it in July again in the Panel from Hell. And if it's still going on in August, we will also be covering that in the August episode a little bit. And if it's going on further than, when...
I can't imagine it's going to be further than release date.
No, but like if it's like up to the release date, that's not when the last episode can come out, because we have like a specific schedule set. But I think we wanted to have a few more like bonus episodes to talk about the full game when it's out, to see what the plot is, and like, oh my god, let's go back and think about our theories, and did that really happen or not. So we will definitely be covering this, no matter if it's longer or whatever, but it's really fun, honestly. Even if you don't really have much time like me and I wasn't able to look at it, you can still go through every specific day and then reread everything and then move through the days and see where people went. And it doesn't take long in your day. Like, honestly, it takes a little bit. Like, go to the next thing, read it. Like, there's actually kind of no excuse to not do it. And that comes from somebody who just excused not doing it. But it's a lot of fun, and it's completely free. I think to vote, you actually have to be logged into the...
You do. You have to be logged into your Larian account.
Exactly. But even just if you don't want to do that, you can still just read and theorize with people.
And try to figure things out.
Yeah, you just can't vote, which... It's fun to vote.
Which is fun.
Yeah. It's a cool thing to do.
It's not necessary to play the game.
Yeah. But you can also just talk to people on, I think, Twitter, Reddit probably.
Discord, whatever.
Discord, yeah. I mean, we
whatever happened to be.
We have a Baldurs Gate 3 section in my Discord if you want to. We like to talk there a little bit. And also here in the comments, we can all talk about it. And then there's more like down by the river. They're probably talking about it. That's a Discord channel. Then I know a few other creators have Discord channels dedicated to Baldur's Gate 3. So there is a lot community that you can find in, this community to talk to people about this game. And it's so much fun. That's why we have this podcast, because it's so much fun to talk about the game and to theorize and like dive deep into it. But yeah, I think that's about it. Do you have anything else you want to say or cover, or theories, or?
For now, I think I'm good.
Yeah, me too. And this episode, I think this is longer than the the longest episode that we had yet.
You are not wrong.
Yeah, it's almost 4 hours. Like, it's probably 3 hours and like 40 minutes, because I have a little bit of editing to do here and cut out like some of our pauses, but that's a good episode. Damn.
And I still have a little bit of video to link to you afterwards.
Mm-hmm. I am always very appreciative of that. And I will see how I do this. You guys will definitely, notice, see whatever I did with it, because these trailers are like 1 minute each, kind of, or like
Yeah, they're not that long.
2 minutes. Yeah, it's gonna be looping. Or I'm gonna slow it down and have like stills. We will see. But anyhow, thank you so much for watching, and you have no idea how much we appreciate you guys listening. If you're still listening to like 3 hours in, you're the real MVP. And let us know what you think, all your thoughts on the murder mystery, and your theories about it, as well as, there's 2 more episodes coming out for the early access. After that, we will probably pause a little bit to be able to play the full game. And then we will have some bonus episodes out again, but definitely don't miss the August episode, because that one is a fun one. So, if you want to sub, so you don't miss out the monthly episodes. I also have, if you haven't watched the others, it is linked on my channel page. You have to just scroll a little bit down and then you can see all the episodes. I have a playlist. It's also, if you go on my page, you can see the like videos, shorts, and then podcasts. If you click on the podcast thing, you have all the episodes out there as well. Easy to find. But yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, share your thoughts with us. We love it. But yeah, thank you. And until the next one, bye bye.